No, they didn't do it on purpose. They, oh, Oko is like guys. Talk about it. They're fine. Oh, better than- Fine. Oh, oh. We'll start recording and so welcome. We're at the SLE finals now for playoffs. You guys could introduce yourself.
Yeah, but will you go first?
It was the other way around, it's fine. So I'm Robin, I'm Bobo. I'm the top laner for Team Evolution.
Yeah.
And I'm from Germany.
My name is Casper. I'm the coach for Team Evolution, and I'm from Denmark.
So, do you guys have any like personal experience in the competitive scene before the split of SLE?
So I've been playing in some amateur leagues before, namely Valence League for like 2 to 3 years. And now just joined with the Evo Boys CWL as well. So quite a bit, I'd say.
Yeah, how about you, Monk? Yeah, as a coach, I expect you probably have
Yeah.
years.
I played jungle in the ELs, so I played jungle in NLC and those things, and recently I transitioned into helping lower teams as a coach, but I do still play competitive in Division 2 ELs. So.
And then within the team, like I mean, as the coach, you're the coach, right? Yeah, your role in the team is guiding drafts. I expect do you have any roles like outside of the drafting? Do you get plan anything or practices?
I mean, I did some presentations for the team about macro, about how to play certain objectives and what you can do and what you cannot do in the game. So I taught the team a lot of different variations on how to play the game, but I only really stand for that to help them bring their A game and to help them improve and to draft for them.
How about you, Bobo? What do you feel is your role within the team in game, but maybe also outside of the team?
So I'd say like I wouldn't say the weak point, but kind of the anchor sometimes, who takes a bit of the shit if it comes to it, especially in draft. Like sometimes sacrificing myself a bit, especially in SLE where I play a lot of tanks.
The Gragas top.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say like the anchor maybe, and not not a really big voice, but more like keeping the mentality a bit more up if something goes wrong.
Yeah, a bit of the backbone, right? Like taking the weak side top, keeping everyone stable mentally in game. I see what you. Yeah. So.
And
Be open.
you manage the team as well, right? You do like schedule for everything.
Yeah, for now, yeah. Since Rosa left, I do kind of the managing as well. Yeah.
I mean, we need born leaders, right? So from your like the game against Vitagen, I think that's like already like almost 1.5 months back ago. He played Vitagen now twice, or no, once in playoffs and then in the series. You guys played Vitagen once in the playoffs and in the normal split. You've seen the. I don't know if you guys watched the games of T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I did.
So with Vitagen in mind, right? Your experience with Vitagen, how was it? You think T beating Vitagen now gives you guys a more confident feeling, or like what was your experience with Vitagen?
So I personally think that Vitagen was the better team. Not in their series against them, obviously. But
I mean,
we whole as a team always thought that we would face Vitagen. Probably also because we didn't see too much of G. But we are really surprised by how easy it was in the end to beat them. But I think that was also mainly on their draft and not how they play. I think that's like that was like their main problem overall.
Yeah.
Except for the last game, where I think they played really not to what they could have done in the semifinal or like in the losers final, like in the game against G.
Yeah.
So I think on a day where they perform like they can, they should have been our enemies in the finals.
Yes. Okay. So it's been a while since you guys played G. You guys feel like you've grown as a team in that period, or more maybe stagnated more? Because that was something we heard from a lot of teams, right? Where there wasn't enough matches played in the period to playoffs. Is that the same for you guys? Are you guys like on a low in game quality, or did you guys grow?
I think we had the benefit of playing in more leagues together. So while SLE was kind of on a break, or like especially our game took ages from normal games to playoffs. I think we grew a lot while that, especially because like the same team was playing in CWL, 4 out of 5 players were playing in VL. So I think we had more time to grow together. Even though I think we didn't play as much games as we would have liked, because playing in 3 leagues kind of burned out a few people.
Me neither.
So
one is
we
here.
didn't play that much scrims in the end. But I think overall, we have definitely more grown together.
You're a caster today, not a producer, so it's
I mean,
only
a
for
lot
you.
of the
We got
players
this.
have
If we do it like this, you guys introduce
as
us.
well. Like if you look at it, everyone is almost close to diamond, right? Like people are sitting at plat 1, for example, so everyone improved at least the split. And yeah, you see Bry, for example, he was hard stuck gold and now he's plat 1. Just things like that, everyone improved. Not necessarily in team game, but they improved in solo queue, and that's really important in these leagues, right? Because it's if you can punish in lane, then a lot of things happens. And
you get a lead, then you can pretty much wallet slap your way through the game.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, let me go. So your opinion about G? We already talked a bit about it. What's your opinion about the whole team of Gucci and players individually? Are there any players that stand out?
I mean, I think when we played against them last time, the mid laner was kind of okay. We had to keep an extra eye on the mid laner. I think he's called Sovonix, right?
Yeah.
If I do not.
That's-
Yeah. He has some niche picks that can put a guy out, but overall, I don't think we're really scared of T. That draft is really bad, and it hinders them a lot. So as long as we just do like we did last time, it will be very easy.
And how about you, Bobo? Your coach is confident, so do you share this confidence, or?
I think we're all quite confident in the sense, not in the sense that they are shit, but unless they improve their drafts massively, I don't see us fucking up enough so they get through with their drafts. Also, I think, if I recall correctly, obviously, their bot lane was definitely their weak point. They couldn't punish us enough on the top side of the map. The only one that was really scary at times was their mid laner. But overall, I don't think that they have a real chance without like magically learning how to use the draft tool.
Yeah, I mean, so confidence coming from you guys, not in the sentence of we think they're bad, but we're just better, kind of, if I recap this correctly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Stefanis. You say he's the standing out part. You can also be a little bit more negative for like criticism here. And do you think there's any weak sides on where you think it's just your side is way better? Because you said bot lane didn't punish you enough. You feel like their bot lane is like worse than you guys?
So
Yeah, for sure. I think our bot lane is way better. Just even though we put our bot lane on a weak side matchup, they will still come out ahead. And if that things happen, it just shows that we're able to put a little anchor on our bot lane and pick them a skating champ, and that will maybe lose the 2v2 matchup. But because that drafting really weird and hindering the bot lane a lot, they will still be able to come ahead in our bot lane, and that makes the drafting way much easier because even though we draft a bad bot lane, we still know we're gonna win it. So.
Do you have anything to add to this, Bobo?
yeah, so as I said already, I think it's definitely their weak point, their bot lane. Their top side is definitely a strong part, but as I said, I don't think they played cleanly enough or have the draft tools to punish us enough in that side, so their bot lane will become a real issue.
Yeah, with that, like I just want to tap into like your top side thing, for you, Bobo, because you're the top laner, right? You're gonna be facing off against Jeff. You just said you think the top lane is the strong side of or like is the strong point of G. Can you like put in a bit more into that? You feel like Jeff actually like maybe outskills you is better, or what do you feel?
I wouldn't say that. I think he's getting hyped up a lot more than he's actually good. But I do think he has a really good shampoo. And especially he plays a lot of counters to the things I like to blind pick. So that makes it a bit more hard for me. But it showed me the last time we played, I played really bad, and we still somehow came out even / not with a lead big enough that they could snowball out of it. So I think on this finals, where I hopefully will find my hands again, I don't see them actually doing enough. So I think he has a good shampoo, and I think he has good counters to my champs. But I don't think it will be enough. And I also don't think he would outskill me in a matchup where it's actually even, and I play normally.
Okay, so last time you guys played, it was before durability patch, right? It hit meta shifted a bit. It's not massive, but it's still a decent meta shift. How do you guys feel like? How does this influence your team as a whole? Did you guys get better off this patch? Did you guys play still better, or is this the reverse and you're like, give me back all the one-shot assassins?
I mean, I think for sure it benefit us a little bit because the AD carry meta is kind of good for our AD carry. And Bubu loves to play tanks, and since tank items just got buffed, I assume they are very good right now. So we get an even more stronger Bubu than before. So I think the patch benefits us a lot.
Yeah, how about you, Bobo? You feel like because you're a full tank Gragas won't be able to punch up the enemy ADC anymore now, right? So
Oh no.
yeah,
Luckily, I will be even less be able to be killed. So
sure.
that should be fine. And I think the fact that Ori is really good at knowing what he's allowed to do and not will make it really hard in this meta for them to compete, especially because, as said, I don't think their bot lane will actually be able to contest him. So I don't see them putting him behind, and then it's exactly his meta. Because I mean, it's not a spoiler to say that he's kind of cracked that Vayne, right?
Yeah, I mean we have
And
seen
it's
this Vayne game against Vitagen.
yeah, and it's kind
Yeah.
of the same with the other hyper attack speed carries. So I'm not really worried about that. So I think it really benefits us.
Sounds good. You guys have any surprise pocket picks we can expect? Can we expect some Vayne to be suddenly swapped to the top side? I don't need to hear picks, but are there
I
any
mean,
surprises that can show up?
let's just say that Bobo has been AD carrying me now, and Tam likes to play jungle as well. So let's see.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that. So the general expectations. Let's wrap this up. How do you guys think the series is gonna go? Best of 5, so it's also an endurance test. You guys think it's gonna be 3-0,
3-1,
3-1?
because Bobo has to run it one game, you know. So 3-1.
Well,
I completely agree with the score. I don't agree with the explanation, obviously. But yeah, I'd also say it will be a 3-1 because I see us inting one game, but I don't think we will int enough that they will get the series. Or like I don't see us making major mistakes 3 games in a row.
okay. Well, thank you guys for your time. I wish you guys the best of luck. I pray for a 5 banger, of course, as a side lane viewer. But if it's a 3-1, then you guys were right. Uh,
Yep.
thank you for your time. Well, hello, people. Well, hello, people. My name is Rango here, and I'm interviewing some members of Gucci Gaming, our finalists for the grand finals of SLE. If you guys mind introducing yourself.
Hello, I am Savonix. I am the mid laner for Gucci Gaming.
And I'm a Savage makers in some other places, but I'm the AD carry for Good Chi.
So, congratulations on making it to the finals. That's first. And second, the first question I had for you guys, what's your guys' personal competitive experience before SLE? Did you guys play any competitive games, or were you guys in the competitive scene?
I have played a lot of competitive games. I've been in the professional competitive scene as well. And I mean, for me, I have a good idea of what works at the higher levels and can implement it to punish a lot of players at this level. My hands aren't as good anymore because I'm getting old, but yeah, that's my experience.
Well, I personally don't have that much of. Well, I have experience in playing in teams and in tournaments, but never in a tournament that lasted more than one day or one evening. But yeah, I've played with teams and my friends. My previous teams were called, I think, Vladimirsky Central, 21st Century Communism, and Team Not Sober.
Serious? That would be kind of controversial these days now. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it is great. And what's your guys' role in your team? Like in your team in game, but also out of game.
I'd say my role is to do my best in mid lane and occasionally try to do a lot of damage. I think outside of game, I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I guess like I have a good balance of positivity and negativity when I need to be critical of others. Because I think in any team environment, if you're not at any point critical of mistakes, then you're not going to improve as a team. So, yeah.
So the mental backbone.
Sure. Not really, because I tilt a lot as well. But
Or the
I mean, I just think for me, it's like I'm not scared to call people out on stuff, and I also want people to call me out on stuff. And I just think it's for at least my experience, right? It's always helped my teams improve faster and better, even though they might not realize it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that Adrian is like Savonix here, my co-teammate. He's like he's very humble and stuff, but actually in his role in the team, he's the star player. He's the Ankara Messi of our team.
No,
Me
no.
personally, I'm the kind of I'd say maybe more of a glue guy. Maybe I'm trying to be the Iniesta, the Steven Gerrard of the team. While Adrian scores a goal, I can like, come on guys, we can do it. We have a game to play. Don't order food in the middle of the game. So yeah, that's more of a me in our team.
yeah. I mean, so you have the critical thinker, you know, the analyzer and the glue sitting here in this interview. That's good. So how did you guys experience the series against Vitagen? Of course, most people that are watching this interview now and that tuned in for the finals have probably watched the semifinals, in which was a banger of a series, of course, and
Yeah.
close until the last fight, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I think going into that series, we came off a series where, even though it was close, that was probably, in my opinion, the worst state our team had ever been in.
We're talking about the
due
Evo series, right? The worst state we're trying, or
Yeah,
Target?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Evo series was probably when we were at our worst. Like, each person had their own individual stuff going on outside of the game, and we just did like going into that, like it was rescheduled, and then the next date that we had planned it for was just so inconvenient for us, but we did it anyway. And when we got, when we lost that series, it was a big smack in the face to us, and we reprioritized, we refocused. We went into that series nervous. We're good friends with the players of VTG, and I think we were really happy with how it went. And at least for me in the last game, I was so happy that I could play something that doesn't have to, 1v9 the game. And to see for example, my jungler, right? He played so insanely well that series, and yeah, it was really nice to see.
For you, Mikas, how did you experience this series, especially on a role that's a little bit less hectic, of course, than mid lane? Did you feel like you had a better feel of the game, or well, how did you feel during that series?
Overall, yeah, talking about the VTG series, we really went in prepared on meta. We were making some mock drafts, and we knew that VTG is probably going to be the biggest challenge we've faced. Because I really respect that team, and I think that they're very strong, and it's always great clashes against them. So yeah, we're really prepared, and I think like we lost game 1, and then we adapted to it, and then going into game 3, I think that's the problem with best of threes is that Wittigen still had their idea that the things that worked game 1 should work for game 3, while we were of an idea that things that countered it in game 2 will work in game 3, and it was eventually it was too little, too late for Wittigen to realize that Blitzcrank is kind of big for us, and Senna is getting hooked every time. So yeah.
Adapt and
Uh,
overcome.
Yeah, maybe in the best of 5 it would have been actually another shift in the picks and bans, but it was an amazing series. I would want to hear the watch party's reaction, but we don't have that.
I can make sure that those will be recorded for next time. You guys are playing. It's just the 12th, if I'm correct, right? Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, the time between the Evo game, right? So Phonics already went in a little bit on it. It's pretty big. I think it's been like 3 weeks or so since you guys played Evo. Do you guys feel like there has been growth? You already kind of stated that in the Evo game you were feeling like you were as a team on the worst point. Is this like Phoenix rising from the ashes? You guys feeling solid now, strong?
Yeah, we're feeling solid. I mean, unfortunately, it's not optimal the way we've scheduled it because I don't know why, but it's scheduling these games are so difficult. But we make do with or like we'll compromise for them. It's whatever. But I mean, I'm feeling super confident going into this one. I think personally, I like all the games in SLE I've been playing with like very little individual preparation, very little practice. Usually it's like, you know, I've played like one game this week and going into a game. But for this series, I've been playing a lot recently, and games have been going well. So I'm very confident, and the team definitely looks strong. So yeah.
Because or Savage Smithcast, have anything to add to that?
I actually wanted to. I wanted to give some props to Evo as well. Going into that series, we were very confident that we're gonna defeat even without anything, even with the fact that Adrian wasn't playing, I was traveling, and Jeff was playing different role. I still thought that we're gonna 2-0 them, but they really showed an absolutely different playstyle that I have not seen from Evo. And yeah, it really opened a lot of. I think it opened my eyes about how this team can play. So I think we're gonna go in much more prepared this time, and no excuses this time because I feel like we're strong and we're confident in ourselves, and we're gonna get a good series.
So you already started talking a bit more about Evo himself, outgrowing your expectations. I think guys fishing on Evo at the moment as a whole, but also on some of the individual players, like others, some that are popping out for their good performance or for their bad performance.
I think their mid and AD are really strong. I think when I played against them the first 2 games, the lane phase, I had Yeon's number, but I think outside of lane he finds ways to get himself back into the game. I think his team play around himself and the ADC very well. However, I think they have a really exploitable weakness in topside. I don't think Bobo or Obsidian are at the level of Division 1 players. I'm being perfectly honest.
That's fine.
Perfectly honest. So yeah.
Mikas, you have anything?
Evo is such a weird team because I feel like they they either do absolutely nothing that they did against us and kind of lose slowly until like later when they come back and they start to fight around objectives and stuff. But yeah, in the like laning phase, they either do absolutely nothing, or they are playing like absolute 180 and just go turbo aggressive, int all over the place, take dumbest fights ever, and there's no in between. I either do this or that. So whichever Evo we're gonna get, we're gonna be prepared for it.
So it's like which side the coin lands, what Evo you get. What I hear here, and I already kind of tapped into it, and I think you guys already pretty much explained it enough. I was gonna ask the strong and the weak points of Evo, but Stefanix pointed out that you think the top jungle duo is the weaker side, especially compared to your own Stefanix, or in general.
I don't think my top and jungle are weaker sides. It's just
No, wait, sorry, you misunderstood.
yeah,
How do
no.
you feel your top and jungle compared to their already like weak top jungle duo?
I think comparing Jeff to Bobo is like comparing a lion to a centipede. In terms of skill level, I think like Broxa, or Lolgog, sorry. He's been playing jungle like less time than Obsidian has for sure. And I think if you watch the two play, you wouldn't even be able to tell that there is any time difference between how much they've been playing the role. In fact, Obsidian probably looks like the newer jungler out of the two. So I mean, in comparison to their top side, I don't think our top side is something that we play through too much. But I mean, against them, I think they're probably the only team where I'd be confident into playing through our top side.
And then to you, Mikas, as Sophonic said, Ori and Eon being the stronger points of Evo, and being an ADC, you of course see the mid laner come by a lot to pick up that free 300 gold of you. How do you feel about these two strong points of Evo? Do you think you guys can play around it, like dodge this Ori 1v9 vein, or is it like we need to really hard target this?
From our series experience, I feel like me and Lockhawk and we didn't do that much in those games. Anything was largely from me because I thought that the mismatch in solo lanes is gonna be so big that I don't necessarily even need to risk my own lane. So but this series we're gonna go in with different mindset, and farming lane is not gonna stand really bot line. And other than that, I do agree with Adrian that top line is a big mismatch. Also, another mismatch is Loco against Kill. One support is a massive playmaker, and the other is Ori's I don't know, bodyguard, Ori's minion. I don't know, but I feel like the roles they play for each team and the skill is big difference. Maybe that's what Evo needs and asks from Kill. I don't know. I'm not in their team. But and I also wanted to add that Adrian misspoke before. Our jungler is definitely not the LAC World's finalist Broxa. He's Lolgog. We don't know what he talked about. He's not the Broxa.
Yeah.
He might as well be at this point.
I mean, his voice is the same. His skill level is a little bit different.
It's just a coincidence. It's not Broxa.
Sure. So yeah, now we go to one of the most important questions. Pineapple pizza.
I think if you put pineapple on pizza, that you are a psychopath and you probably think Evo's topside are good at the game.
Mikas?
Um,
I think we know enough on that one.
I'm a. Oh, okay.
Are you a pineapple enjoyer on pizza? You like it?
I kind of like.
Yeah, we know enough. We go next question.
Oh my god, he thinks Evo's topside is good.
Oh no! What have I done?
Okay, so
No, they're not bad. I mean,
we all know the big durability pets. Assassins weak, ADCs godlike. It all hit just before you guys the target game. How do you think this patch has influenced your team in perspective of the meta? Has this been positive for your team? This more durable, longer fights, or is it a negative impact? And are you guys more of the poppy one hits?
I think it's benefited our team a lot. I think a lot of games where we have lost, or a lot, not official games, but a lot of times where I feel like our team has lost like a scrim or something, it's usually when I've just gotten one shot of some random bullshit like a Sejuani ulting me and I'm just dead, right? But that doesn't happen anymore. So I think these long drawn out fights with our players, like I think our players are quite mechanically good, so these long drawn out fights are definitely benefit us.
How about you, Mikas? As an ADC, you're probably still celebrating that plus 60 health at level 1.
it feels good to not be one shot by Sejuani ult, as Adrian said, and it's benefited. I feel like it's benefited our team a lot, and for me personally, of course, as an AD carry, it not only like it's not only the picks that are very popular right now, but also it's opened up AD carry for many other picks, because AD carry doesn't, like a lot of the immobile champions, doesn't need that much peel anymore, and it's not like, oh, you can only pick like, I don't know, Ashe or Aphelios only if you have a Thresh, right? That will like, or a Tom Kench, because you can survive the Sejuani massive burst and other assassin champions, and the assassins actually need to build assassin now to one-shot me. So yeah, I'd say it's a massive boost for us.
So no more quartering Kiana one-shotting you at level 5.
Yeah, where's my damage, Riot?
Exactly. So wrapping up this interview for the series tonight, will be sent live tonight.
Yes.
Have you guys any pocket picks? Like anything? I don't need to hear champions, but can we expect some casters to go wild when you lock something in, or when something goes to a certain lane? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, and I'll give a clue. Kappa Pride. That's my clue.
What does that mean? Should I be scared?
You can Google.
We might pick a mage mid.
Oh,
We might pick
Oh.
a champion with a hook bot lane. That's all I'm gonna say. Go wild.
is
We
it
would
the
never.
trash ADC?
No comment.
Okay. I don't want to pry too much. We don't want to give away. But yeah, expectations for the series. Best of 5 games. Winner takes it all. Are we gonna get silver scrapes at the end of the evening, or is this gonna be one-sided?
I would love to go to 5 games, but also I would hate it because
That's
as I
5
said,
games.
I'm getting old now. I can barely play 3 games of solo queue without like falling asleep halfway through. But I think the thing is, it all depends on our preparation and our drafts. I feel like whenever, even sometimes if our draft isn't hard winning, if it's like even, we usually do win the game. It's just whenever we have a random draft where we overthink things, that's where we lose. So if we can focus on what we do best and give ourselves best tools to win, then I think we can 3-0 them. But I think as a prediction, it will be a 3-2 to us.
Okay. Because
Yeah, I'm super excited. It was the first time in my life I'm gonna play in a best of 5, and I'm really excited about like the multiple adaptations it offers. For example, if like as I said in the VTG series, I would be so excited to see what would they come out in game 4 with, right? Because I know they would pick Sen again into Blitzcrank. So yeah, prediction. If we win game 1, we 3-0 them.
Okay, confidence. Sounds good. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you all for your time, and well, we'll see the results after the games tonight.
Welcome everybody to the SLE. This isn't a normal day, this is the grand finals. I am excited, Brillman is excited. Oh wait, did I forget to say, we have a brand new person here. He may have been here in season 1, but we have him again. He has come from so far. He's done so much since your time here at the SLE, haven't you?
I have done plenty of things, that absolutely true. Hello everyone who remembers me. And hello, all the newcomers. It's actually our first time together, Zath, isn't it?
It's been an absolute blessing so far. You know, behind the scenes, we've had a bit of fun. I feel like we're going to have a good time today.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And to be fair, I do remember my emotions when I used to cast the very first grand finals of the first season of SLE. Was it a banger? It was an absolute blessing to see that in person. And now I get the chance to do the same thing all over again.
Well, Brillman, we are happy to have you back. I've heard good words from you. Even though you said before to not be bad at casting, I will try my best to make these games as hype as possible. But, you know, not being just being a color caster, it's really up to you to make these games hype. But how excited are you for having Gucci Gaming versus Team Evo?
I have heard a lot about these teams. We didn't have them back in the season when we had all the different lineups. And now looking at how many people make so much progress around the Summoner's Rift, it's just so exciting to see them clash, and not just clash in normal circumstances, but also have them on probably one of the most difficult patches of this season that we have, which is 12.10 and 12.11. As we all know, 12.10 now comes down in history as the durability patch, when every single thing has been changed. And then 12.11, when furthermore, Grievous Wounds has been nerfed. And then you have the reworks of the tank items, of the fighter items, not reworks rather, but a little bit of tweaks now and there. And also some buffs to some champions, like there's a buff to Olaf, there's a buff to Zeri, there's a buff to Ryze. All the new things are starting to pour in, and you have to adjust to them when you're playing the finals. So I'm expecting from both of those teams to deliver the top-notch performance.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Brillman, but there are a few champions that we are expected to see. You were talking about durability patch, but there are a few champions that just in the SLE we always see. And we're going to see them right here. We're going to have a Volibear, maybe, a Trundle. We've seen Trundle before. It got so many of these teams so far into this tournament, so I'm expecting at least one game with it picked or banned.
I wouldn't be really surprised. And also, Enchanter supports or Engage supports, what are we going to see? I have heard rumors about Loco, okay? I've heard some rumors.
Okay, go on.
There are rumors that once you see a hook flying into your face, there's nothing you can do to avoid it. And everything you see is directed by Robert B. Wild. So basically, what I'm expecting is a lot of pickpocket picks, a lot of bangers, and let's put it this way, some proficient work with new champions and durability.
Well, the new champion Belveth will not be allowed in here, so sadly we won't have that little bit of spice we were looking for. There are plenty of other picks that these players do have that they can bring out and bring a bit of spice to the table for us. But Brillman, I have one question for you. So we do know that this is a Plat Diamond-ish league. Would you go for more comfortability into the finals? Because this is the last game. You do have a best of 5 as well, so I'm expecting a lot of these teams to really play against the team, making some adjustments. And I wonder, are they going to pick comfortability? They're going to pick, you know, the meta.
I wouldn't really surprised to see some of the picks going rather for comfort than the meta itself, because this is something that is being done at the professional scene as well. Maybe enchanters are in the meta, but as soon as you go into a serious game, that matters a lot is going to be either Nautilus or Leona. It's just it is what it is. You can't do anything about that. So I
Sometimes
would.
well.
I mean, you can also, you can play around if both Nautilus and Leona are either picked or banned, right? But regardless, I think that what we have to expect is players opting for comfort picks in the very beginning rather than throwing meta all over the place. Or maybe now the preparation is going to kick in and we're going to see all of those meta picks because people started to get comfortable with us and they have started to work it all out. But I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Zath, but I
Okay,
believe that we've got some people who really, really are excited to talk about what those two teams have in their pockets.
You are completely correct there. We do have Sanix and Vengo who are going to be the analyst expert. Thank you so much for having these people here. They will really do their job well. So we will send you over in just a second. Brilm, is there anything you want to say before we quickly go?
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. SLE Grand Finals. We'll see you in the draft.
I think the cameras need to come on and off. Oh. I can't hear you, Rengo. If
Now the problem is solved.
I
You
can
know,
hear you.
stand-in producer struggles. We already had some going on during the interviews, sadly. But yeah, excited. We're talking about picks. We're talking about meta. Our cast has already talked a bit about it, right? These changes, durability patch.
I mean, I'm just distracted by my hair. It was all okay now, but
it's
before
always like that.
it's all over the place. But yeah, anyways, Brillman and Zatos, amazing introduction to the finals right now. And yeah, as they were saying, you know, the whole grand finals happening. You know, both teams last time they met each other, amazing series. Me and Zat actually cast that series, and I know for the last game, the series is going so long. It was my brain was fried. I couldn't even think anymore. Couldn't even cast properly. So you know, if there's something like this happening today, then obviously the casters are in for a treat. I think all the viewers are in for a treat as well. And yeah, but you know, on the topic of long games, you know, there's been a week, two maybe, before the last time the two teams met each other. So you know, with the new patch, with all of this stuff, you know, do you think there's going to be a lot of changes, you know, in how the teams approach the game, considering, you know, 12-11, a lot of buffs, healing reduction nerfs?
Yeah,
durability?
so I talked with both teams, right? With the pre-game interview that we rolled beforehand here as well. Both teams feel like it worked in their favor. They're both confident that this is their patch. So what if, like, the immovable object, you know, they both sides think this is good, but now we have to see who actually is good. Like, we know from Evo, they like their tank top laner. The Cinder buff came through. 100 gold cheaper on it. I think they also get a little bit more health. Reduced
100 more health as well for kind of strong, right?
yeah,
Kind of strong. Obviously, Jeff last time on that Malphite, you know, he was a one man army. You know, you can pick carries anywhere on the team, but you give Jeff the Malphite and he's just gonna 1v9 Goomba Stomp. Like, I don't know, man.
it's like, look at me, I'm the real carry now. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely performing, but we've also seen more Brucerous, like Drink Tank picks by Jeff, like the Aatrox. And then you look at the healing nerf that we got in, right? The previous wounds nerf.
Yeah, obviously the Grievous Wound nerf hit hard, right? And there's also, you know, that factor that I remember vividly from the series between Evo and Gucci. You know, obviously it was pointed out before from the casters about you know, how Gucci's mid laner, or was this before the stream actually started? I don't remember. You know, there's so much stuff happening in the backstage beforehand, before Rengo went live. You know what was happening on the cam. So thank God no one recorded that. But yeah, obviously, you know, with Savonix, a really proficient laner, manages to get leads all on his own. But you know, last time against Evo, when we saw him pick up that Galio in the third game, you know, the whole of Gucci team kind of struggled, right? Obviously they managed to go into very late game, but the moment Savonix wasn't on like a hyper carry-ish mid laner, there was kind of that weakness on Gucci. So I wouldn't be surprised if we manage to see, if we get to see, you know, more mid-oriented focus draft from Gucci today as well.
yeah, more of just the same, right? Like more of these symphonic song, like the backbone hypercarry kind of style. Yeah, Jeff. I feel like with Jeff, we don't know what we're gonna get. We've seen a lot of size
It can
from him.
be it can be anything.
But yeah, the one thing we have to talk about is the Ori's Vayne, right? Ori on his Vayne against Vatagen, and Vayne being the detrimental decider in the games against Chi as well, with the Malphite there. Are we gonna see Prio on the Vayne? Are we gonna see it pick ban? What's your expectations with how the meta has become now as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Vayne, durability patch, everyone was saying, yeah, Vayne's gonna be turbo strong, right? True damage, scaling based off of max health. However, I don't even know the numbers on that, but a champion does a lot of damage. Has some good matchups, has some bad matchups, just like any other ADC. Obviously does very well now that it's a much more, even more scaling meta than it was beforehand. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get to see some Vayne Prio. I don't want to throw some shade here, but that Vayne matchup against Vitagen was a bit, Zac as well in that game. Everyone remembers the Zac from that game. So there was a few factors, but yeah, the Vayne that game looked very strong for Mori. It looks strong against Gucci Gaming as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see it, but I wouldn't really expect it in the earlier stages of the game, or at least the first 2 games. But it is a pick that generally does come out later on as teams progress a bit. Every draft, every best of 3, best of 5 kind of has its own meta, right? It kind of develops as the drafts go. You can be like, okay, these guys want to pick up, let's say, an Azir, right? Sovonix is an Azir player. Eon is a Yasuo player, so we might be seeing, Yasuo getting picked out, and you're like, oh, actually we have an answer for Yasuo, so you guys can pick Yasuo into us. You can give priority to the pick, but we're just gonna answer it with something, right? So as the drafts go, maybe they're gonna ban it game 1, leave it open, see how it goes, have a pick prepared for it, maybe. So yeah, obviously for game 1, I think we will be seeing all of these, major bans. We might be seeing a Vayne, Yasuo ban. For the side of from the side of Gucci, and obviously on the side of Evo, we might be seeing something like Azir, Thresh, Blitzcrank, all of these
Trundle.
champions Trundle, Malphite, champions that were really a thorn in the side of Evo last time they played.
Yeah, for sure. And going a little bit back to this Trundle at the moment, one of the stronger junglers. I think if we the strongest junglers at the moment, Trundle is Wally, is the monkey, right? It's the bear, the clown, and the monkey. So the clown, but Trundle, the troll. So
yeah, the clown.
Yeah, I made the joke, and then I was like, oh wait, there's a real clown in this jungle sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he just clowns the enemy team once he builds Hullbreaker and just goes split on a lane, right? At that point, it's just the clown, right? Obviously, but there's obviously still, the old classic jungle picks like a Jarvan, which is, you're a Jarvan player, right? Like, you know how it is. It's a pick. You can't really discount him. It's kind of, just easy. Level 2, I'm just gonna gank. I have EQ. I can just go get a flash, maybe get my level 3 and just regank and get advantages. And then once you're level 6, you just Cataclysm, lock people in, and just zone. And it's a really strong pick that we can't forget about. Even if it's not something prominent right now.
The high utility jungler there, where you don't really play for yourself at any point in the game, right? Playing champ like Jarvan or Poppy will require a more selfless playstyle, and we have to see if both Obsidian and Logok can think about that, because both of these players don't strike me as the team player kind of. Like they're a bit more of the I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna slap people up kind of people, right?
It should be. You're a jungler. You know how it is. As a jungler, it's rough. It gets rough at moments. At times you're just there to basically funnel resources into your team, especially once you get a 1-2 item mark in the game. And obviously, Obsidian so far, even in regular split, the champions we've seen from him, a lot of Nidalee, Lilia, and playoffs especially. We saw that Diana Yasuo, which is a staple combo, especially in the recent few months. And that didn't really work out that strong for them. So, I'm interested to see, is Obsidian, going to be like, yeah, I will be picking these champs and I am going to make them work now in the finals? Or is it going to be a bit more, stale and be like, yeah, maybe it didn't work out the best last time, so I'll just pick something that's, beneficial for the team and just make it work like that?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And talking about Team Evo's side, what I've been hearing from behind the scenes is that Ori can probably not make it and will be filled in by a substitute. Running through that person, the vein is missing. So does that take away a lot of threat? Because this man, I will talk like college for you up real quick. Like Sari, likes Ezreal, like Jin, like Jinx,
Vayne, Kai'Sa as well.
Helios. Yeah, but Isa I see here. But outside of that, there's not a lot of similarities with champion pool of Ori outside of the Ezreal. Do you think this will be more detrimental for Evo, that they have to play with someone else, or is this more detrimental for Chi and their game plan?
Well, you see, it goes both ways, right? Like, Chi builds up a game plan. They know how Ori played so far in the playoffs. They know kind of how his gameplay is. You know what he wants to do in a game, how he wants to approach the game. And obviously, you know, once you change it up, you change the draft, you change the idea of what you actually want to do. You know, your game plan goes out of the window. But also on the other side, you know, we have Evo, who basically are playing with a player they haven't played so far. You know, he's not oiled in with the team. He's kind of a non-factor. I mean, not a non-factor. That's the wrong word, but you know, he's not there. You know, he doesn't have the team identity with him. He hasn't played any games with the team, probably. You know, maybe filled in some scrims or whatever, but you know, doesn't have as much game time as Ori does, who's been their starting ADC now for, you know, the last few series, actually, in playoffs, most of playoffs, actually, all of playoffs, actually. I know he was swapped in at a point. I don't remember exactly when, but obviously, you know, getting a player in the finals isn't always the best thing. You know, actually, last season's finals, we had the similar situation, right, happen where there was someone else playing with the team, and you know, it was rougher for the team, as it would usually be, as you do need to switch up your playstyles to according to the player, or that player needs to be adaptable enough to, you know, play the way you guys want to play.
Yeah, so definitely a hurdle for both teams, of course, here. And with that, you think what will be the hurdle for both teams? Like looking at your Evo, you're looking at Chi. What is your hurdle? Which player is the one you're afraid of as Evo? And what are you gonna focus on during draft?
I mean, obviously, it's Evo, right? So far, I mean, the previous series, they played against Malphite twice. I think in both games, the Malphite was very, very big. So if let's say, if I was Evo here, I would ban Malphite off the board anyway, because it was clear last time around that they didn't have an answer. I doubt they might have gotten an answer in the short time they played against it. It's just a very strong champ, especially with their ability update and Thornmail in this patch, which is very, very strong as well. Malphite a champion that does well with the Thornmail. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Malphite ban from the side of Evo. Then obviously you have Sovonix on mid with champions like Cassiopeia, who's very strong right now, Talia, who's very strong. You know, these high scaling, high damage mages that, you know, he can get resources off on his own, and especially Talia with a ult that just, you know, you get pressure on the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see a Talia ban on the side of Evo as well. And the third, you know, obviously Loco last time around against VTG. I mean, speechless performance, honestly. You know, hitting those hooks when he has to, on that Blitzcrank, doing work. You know, across the season, he was deemed to be the threshold TP.
And with that, I'm going to interrupt you real quick, because you're talking about bans. Because of the last minute change in the roster of the Evo side, they will lose their first 3 bans for the first game. Which is, I can understand.
Yeah,
understandable.
Yeah,
she gets caught by their game plan being thrown around. For some. So, yeah, that leaves a lot of options open for Chi. Chi gets a lot. It's a lot of room, a lot of drafting idea.
Yeah, obviously, you know, you have a lot of room. So, you know, we were still talking about the Malphite, you know, all these champions now being on the board. It could potentially mean that these champions are going to be contested picks for the side of Evo now as well. You know, maybe you're not going to want to play against the Malphite. You're going to be blue side. You're going to be, you know, Malphite's not really first pickable, but are we going to, you know, just pick Malphite and hope for the best and hope we can play with it? Or are we just going to let it go through and, you know, suffer against it? But yeah,
Yeah,
anyway,
think,
as all of this is happening and all of these, bans are going through, when it comes to that second stage, right? Obviously draft is gonna progress the way it will, and lately there's been a lot of, a lot of games that were actually won from Red Side, even here in SLE playoffs. Red Side was really prominent, and it is because there's not really any picks that are, yeah, I will first pick this. This is what I want. Obviously, last patch Swain was something really strong, and Gucci was the team that was picking up Swain on Loco as support. Actually, Swain was a champion that was kind of reworked so he can go into solo lanes, and then Loco just said, "Yeah, I don't play solo lanes. I'll just play Swain support." And he was just having so much map pressure on that Swain that it was insane. And so Swain getting nerfed this patch as well a bit. I don't really know how much that hit him, but Red Side, as I was saying, is just a very strong because you have those R4. You pick fourth, so you're picking into 3 champs on the enemy team, but that R5 pick can just round up your whole team comp, and it can be such a strong pick to just counter a lot of the champions on the enemy team, especially if you give it to someone like Sovonix who can do a lot of work with that champion.
Yeah, definitely. But the meta we've seen resolve around this skill level is mostly that counter-based picking, being like reactive to what the enemy team picked, succeeds. This might be because some teams not always have as tight of a game plan. So those prio picks, what you normally use blue side for, right? Blue side just for getting those high importance picks, don't get used well towards their idea of a game plan. So it will be interesting to see how these results will come out for the teams. Are we just gonna get our mouth, like our words eaten, and will they show us that they blue pick, get Gwen B1 and take over the game off that point, or?
Yeah. I mean, Gwen B1. Look, Gwen is immune.
Gwen
Is
is
there
immune.
anything else for it to say? Gwen is immune. She gets those 2-3 items going, and she just melts through the team, right? So I am very interested. Now with obviously Evo losing the first 3 bans, how the draft actually is going to happen, and Unvolve, because Unvolve, is that even a word? I don't know if that's a word anymore. But yeah, as we're kind of just waiting for the game now.
So I just
of-
hear she gets red side.
She gets red side, as we're saying. Sovonix, R5, a very good position already. I would already, knowing that Evo has a replacement, a sub right now for the finals, and the Gucci has that red side, which I think is favorable, at least towards them. I would already kind of give Gucci the edge for game 1 here before even seeing any type of draft.
Yeah, definitely. Getting 3 bans, it means that one of these champions, the Vonix Dacier, Fresh, Locos Fresh, or Volcox Bundle, they will go through.
Malphite.
Or the Malphite. Yeah, they will go through. One of these will go through for sure. Like, and maybe they will just take them all. Like, maybe they will just take it all, because they missed the first 3 bans, right? So it's, yeah.
I mean, look, if they take it all, it's just a matter of, does Evo have a response? They played against these champions before in regular split. They played against them in, playoffs last time they met. I'm going back to it. Last game of playoffs was almost like 50 minutes long. Game 2 was around 40 minutes long. Game 1 was also, that length. So 2 teams that generally, have that early game. Evo, in their series, generally they manage to get a lead in the early game, and then they make a misplay that actually puts them really far behind. And then they struggle throughout the end of early and mid game.
Yeah.
And then they kind of come back in that, in those late game team fights. And that's kind of what edged them out with Gucci last time round. It was those later game team fights, and losing those 3 bans, and draft probably not being favored towards you now because of it. Are they going to be able to win in those later game team fights against Gucci, which is also a team that does very well in those late game team fights? So it's just 2 teams going at it, and we're here to see it.
And with that, draft is about to start, so we're handing it back to our beautiful casters, Setos and Brillman, and we hope for the best, and we will be here in between games for you guys again. So enjoy the games, people.
Yep.
Thank you, Vengo and Sanix, for that. It was an absolute pleasure to have you guys be our analyst experts. But yes, they are correct. It's me, Zapdos. You see me quite quite a bit here, but
We don't see you right now, but we have seen you. That is true.
Okay, give me a second. All right. Can we
Hello,
restart?
you're back.
There we go. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry about that. My beautiful face is finally on screen. But Brilman, are you ready for our first game?
I am definitely. Also extremely exciting to see how the drafts are going to play out based on what our analysts have been saying. Do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it is indeed true. Now we do have a substitute mid laner for Evo. And with that being, let's see how it's going to go for both of the teams.
Give me 1 second, just line up Ringo stream. Ah, that's perfect. I can finally see what's happening. So Evo, I do believe that Evo should be losing their first 3 bans, but they do seem to be banning.
They do seem to be. Maybe there is some kind of a
communication error, but
misunderstanding, miscalculation, maybe too, or maybe they just decided that they're going to ban like those irrelevant champions. They just called them irrelevant champions, and then just started to ban everything through.
Or it's SLE. So
or it's SLE. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
We believe some shenanigans have happened. But one thing I do want to talk about, Evo has banned out the 2 most popular picks in the SLE. We do have to say goodbye to 2 junglers / top laners, to the Chondoa and the Volibear.
And now Chi are answering with some AD carry bans of their own, getting out probably one of the most excessive AD carries that we do have right now in the Rift, which is Zeri and Twitch. Don't forget, guys, we're playing on the patch 12.11. That means Twitch is pretty much at the top tier list, together with Zeri, that have received a lot of tweaks and buffs. So now she's much more stronger than she used to be.
Well, thank God, Zeri's Q used to deal 300 damage. Luckily, it got patched out slightly before this game. So Zeri isn't as strong as she used to be, as it's looking like Evo has decided to not do their last ban with Gucci Gaming coming in with
something.
Something.
We don't know yet. It's going to be Viego. Another, actually, very, very big jungler who we have right now sitting at the top tier list. Also, thanks to the recent introduction to the durability, we do see them very often to run with the Kraken Slayer. So I'm really interested to see what champions are going to get with that build batch. And here comes the picks.
Wow, that is... Evo knows what they're doing. When you have somebody pick it that fast into, the first game, these people have been practicing. They have been reading what Gucci Gaming has been doing. They know what they want to pick into it. Delilia being first pick, what jungler would you pick into this?
Now it's getting answered by Hecarim. I'm not sure how much of a good answer it is. I know that Olaf is an extremely good answer to whatever Lily is going to be doing, thanks to Lilting Lullaby, right? So the only thing that right now you can't really go with that into jungle. That would have been a counter pick more like for the top lane, and therefore you're exposing the enemy to try to counter pick you in the top lane. But yet, Chi are going to go with the Hecarim, not the most of the popular ones, but yet somebody who gets the job done at least to a certain capacity.
Well, it's looking like they are trying to hover the Ashe here. Again, that adds their second pick on Gucci Gaming. Now, Ashe is a little bit more of a safer AD carry. It seems like they want to go for a bit more pick potential in their comp. If you get the Ashe off with the Hecarim on top, there's going to be one dead player on the side of Team Evo.
That is definitely true. Also might be flexed into support. This is something that we have been seeing recently. For example, Promiscute in Ultra Liga just on Wednesday was doing that, and he has been explicitly good with that. And now Senna actually popping in another... No, it's not going to be a flex. It's going to be a support Senna into an AD carry-ish Tahm Kench.
Now, the reason I really like the Tahm Kench here is we know Loco, the support for Gucci Gaming, adores having a hook champion. Now, if Senna does get hooked by anything, Tahm Kench is able to swallow her up and keep her to safety. So it's a really good pick to really try and counter everything Gucci Gaming's doing.
Devour is going to be a very important thing to actually fight against anyone on the team right now. We're seeing Ashe actually indeed being picked as an AD carry for Chi, yet... Still, looking at the team composition that she are already presenting, seems to be that Tahm Kench is going to be the most crucial member of the team Evo to actually disengage from those fights.
Now, Brilman, you were talking about how enchanters are a lot better in the meta now, having the durability patch allow them to not die and keep their champions really alive on their team. But it's looking like Gucci Gaming doesn't care. They understand how strong Loco is onto a hook champion. So they decided to not take the Azir onto their mid lane, and they decided to have a Nautilus instead for Loco, bringing the hook champ to them.
It is a good plan if you do know what is the strongest point of your opponent's team to not play into their hands, and taking an enchanter support, whether he's going to be able to actually preserve somebody from dying or not is a very good idea, because Enchanted support expose themselves and the AD carries to that potential of being hooked in. Now, with that pick of Tahm Kench, it at least gives you a little bit of a capacity of either body blocking that exact hook and trying to survive through the initial burst they're going to go onto you thanks to the shields, actually, that Tahm Kench also provides, right? Or he can devour someone in, and with the Abyssal Voyage, try to escape with that person in their belly and provide at least something of a defense.
So one thing I'm looking at Gucci Gaming's team comp, and I really believe this Nautilus should be roaming around the map, because if you do hook onto the Tahm Kench or the Senna, they should be able to have enough mobility to get them out, making it a very safe lane and really hard to gank, even with a Hecarim with the dash back and the ultimate to try and help out this bot lane. So I'm expecting Nautilus to be playing around more of the top sides. Gucci Gaming should hopefully be picking really a strong side top laner or mid laner here.
Definitely looking for a mid laner pick right now, as we are getting to the point where the bot lane of Evo is going to be ungankable. Again, thanks to the fact that you have pointed out with Tahm Kench, and then, of course, Senna being actually quite a mobile champion as well, providing a lot of safety on the lane too. Therefore, it might be a good idea for Chi to try to take control over the top side of the map, thanks to the very good roaming mid laner, and try to take control of the early objectives like dragons and heralds.
Well, it is looking like Gucci Gaming is going to put Jeff onto a tank. This is what he's most comfortable on. We mostly see him onto the Malphite, but Ornn is one of the picks that we do see that he is usually on. Now, one thing that Evo did do that I do want to mention is we were thinking that maybe they were not understanding the bans, but they did ban for the first two and kept 3 free, allowing them to, get away with banning the first two.
At the very least, something that preserved Team Ever with some kind of adjustability. But regardless, let's have a quick look at the picks too, because they're pouring in and they're very exciting. We've got 2 top laners now locked in, which is going to be Ornn and Aatrix. And now it feels like Ornn is not going to have the best of times trying to stand against Aatrix.
Aatrox has so much healing just built into his kit, especially when he has that ultimate as well, allowing him to heal a lot more, meaning that he really shouldn't be losing any of the fights in the top lane. But one thing I want to talk about is on the side of Evo, having this Lilia pick. When you have a thing such as an Ashe ultimate, a Nautilus art, and even Hecarim with Ornn as well, so much CC coming out from the side of Gucci Gaming, I'm not sure how easily Lilia is able to do what she wants to in this team.
Hold that thought, my friend, because the mid laners are pouring in. Ahri will be locked up for Evo, but Azir is going to be the champion to lock in for Chi. And this is actually exactly what we have been talking about. A champion who's pretty comfortable and very, very quickly getting around the map and trying to get the prior on those objectives.
Now, for Ahri in the early game, she will have prio because of her Q. She's able to push out the wave a lot faster than the Azir. But after around about an item and a half, we should see Azir having a lot more push pressure because he's able to get around 3 sand soldiers to come in to push the wave and allow him to get a lot more pressure over to these objectives, allowing his team to really find the picks they want to. Because imagine Ashe ultimate goes out, having the Azir bringing them back into the team, and the Hecarim and Ornn able to knock them up there, meaning that Gucci Gaming is just looking for a little bit more of a pick comp here.
At the very moment, the team fighting potential coming from Chi is just insane, thanks to the amount of very good ultimates that they do possess. They have the Onslaught of the Shadows, as well as you mentioned up. And also, let's not discard the depth charge too. Really, rightfully, let's say precisely timely cast a depth charge can knock up not only 1, not only 2, but maybe even 3 members of the enemy team, therefore providing just so much of an advantage into those team fights.
Now, this is Gucci Gaming's bread and butter, I would say. Having Savonix in this mid lane, going for a little bit more of a scale champion, allowing him to get to this late game and be their priority threat. So if they do get there, they can win these team fights if needed. Having, their support local, we keep talking about how amazing his hooks are. So having him on a hook champion is very important as well, giving a little bit of a safe AD carry for their, carry who likes to, stay in the back line, give support, but really not be the main damage threat. And then on top of that, giving their jungler a little bit more aggression, allowing him to, meet up with his Nautilus bot lane and make real big threats happening. Hopefully aiming for this mid lane with Ahri. If they do take a flash out and it's before level 6, it should be a kill.
It most certainly should give a lot of edge to Savonix on the lane to try actually to do anything against Ahri. But also what I'm looking at Chi is that I see a lot of engage. There's just genuinely a lot of ways how you can start a fight with ultimate amounts of combinations with those ultimates. I know the word of ultimates have been used a little bit too much, but it's the ultimate usage of the overusage of ultimates. And basically, that's what's going to happen in the game too, though, because those abilities will be the crucial part of any team fight, whether it's going to be a skirmish, whether it's going to be a full-scale 5-on-5 team fight, whatever is going to be happening on the map.
Now, for the way for Team Evo to win this is to try and not get engaged on. Imagine they try and engage onto you, Gucci Game, and uses all of their ultimate. This is where Team Evo will shine, allowing that Aatrox, Lilia, and even, the center time catch playing front to back and really be able to poke them out. And then finally, after the big ult out, really go in and then just get into their faces and really do what they want. Because Lilia and Aatrox both adore it when they can really get into your face and play in and out.
On the other hand, looking at Evo, I see a very disengaging composition. There's a lot of ways how you can prevent the fight from happening, whether you have to eat someone and not actually digest them, whether you have to surround someone with a mist, or maybe even just straight up run away, like Lilia is actually capable of doing, right? The only person who you can say is inescapable in a certain way is Aatrox, but even he possesses the way to jump over the walls. Yes, these have to be a little bit slimmer walls, not exactly those that have been eating McDonald's, for example, but regardless, it's going to be a good edge for Evo to try and get out of the fight's way and then re-pulling the trigger themselves.
Now, one thing I want to talk about is this Tahm Kench pick. There is a summoner that he could take, which I'll be quite interested to see if he does, and that is the Cleanse. We know that Cleanse can stop a Nautilus engage or an Ass engage, allowing him to eat someone out and then Abyssal Voyage them out of there. So it's going to be interesting if he is going to go for that, or if he wants to go for a little bit more of a defensive spell of an Exhaust, or maybe if he's feeling a little bit spicy and he thinks he can win this bot lane, he could go for an Ignite.
I would suspect that Senna and Tahm Kench have to be able to outpoke the enemy just thanks to the Q that Senna has. I mean, yes, there's also the Ashes spray of arrows, but I would say that in my world, at the very least, in the beginning of the game, they have the chance to at least try to outpoke and out-sustain the enemies on the lane. While on the other hand, going into a full fight, probably not going to be to their favor, just to the fact that Senna is not that strong in the early game. With that being said, I would suspect an Exhaust, but Ignite seems to be like a viable option.
That is the most important thing. Was the Senna healing? Because they're able to, out-sustain the lane opponent. So the longer that Evo keeps Gucci Gaming in this lane, the stronger Evo should be. And this is the thing on the side of Evo is they do have the sustain option over the side of Gucci Gaming. So if Gucci does not fight a hard engage, we should see Team Evo take over these team fights.
And it's also very important to see who's actually going to be the one farming, because in the patch 12.11, we have seen introduction of changes to the stack measurement of Senna. Now from 3 to 8%, she has been buffed when she is the one playing the AD carry role and actually killing those minions, right? So it's going to be also very interesting to see how is this going to be played out, because for what it's worth, Tahm Kench is not going to be unpunished, let's put it this way, when it comes to actually trying to stack himself up.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Tahm Kench to stack himself up here. But no, one champion I want to talk about is this Lilia. This Lilia does need to farm up to the late game, allowing Hecarim to have a lot more pressure into this early game. So if Hecarim is looking for this mid lane, Lilia really won't be able to do much against him.
Prior to level 6, probably not. As soon as Lilia gets to level 6, I would say that they have a little bit of an edge, and for some reason, my dog on balcony decides to join in the broadcast. Apparently,
You have a balcony?
Yes, I do, and I have a dog on the balcony that is about to try to join into the broadcast. I feel like, at the very least, but I really think that Lilting Lullaby is going to be just a little bit more of a viable tool trying to get those fights starting on the mid lane, just thanks to the sheer range that you can use pairing her up with that with the Ari's kit.
Now, so for the jungle pathing, what lane would you really go for if you're either of these sides?
I'm a play-by-play caster. I get emotional and I get excited and I shout about it.
I will answer this question for you then. So for the side of Team Evo, if I'm looking at both these team comps, I am expecting Lilia to be farming up to this level 6, really just trying to counter the things that Hecarim's really tried to do in this game. So I'm not really expecting Lilia to be really having too much trouble with this, he could be starting on the blue side, pathing his way to the bot side, if I am correct. On the side of Gucci Gaming, I am expecting this Hecarim to be focusing this mid lane. Because the thing is, with Senna Tank Edge, it is so hard to get this lane behind because of how tanky the tank edge is and the sustain from Senna. So if you do catch out the Ahri without the ultimate and get the flash out her early, she is going to be an easy pick off for you to do. So that's what I'm expecting both these junglers to do.
I absolutely understand this, and actually coming in through, I wouldn't really expect any of those junglers to try and opt to go for the top lane, as both of these top laners seem to be playing the weak side top. We're not going to see a lot of action happening through there. Maybe they're going to try to go for a little bit more of a prio, but I would expect them to have their own little game until the minute of 14, when we're going to have Unleashed teleports and the turret plates are about to fall off, and only after that we'll see those champions actually start to get involved into those skirmishes. Maybe a little bit beforehand for those heralds. But the main focus of the both teams and both of the junglers probably are going to be around the mid lane. But to be fair, Chi's opportunity, quite hefty one too, is that with Nautilus, they can roam up towards heralds. Tahm Kench is not exactly capable of that because he can't leave that center alone.
Now, one thing I want to talk about is this bot lane and mid lane matchup. So, for the side of Team Evo, they do have priority in the mid lane and the bot lane for most of this game until we get to around 1.5 to 2 items. What this does mean is even Lilia isn't the strongest jungler against this Hecarim. She will have priority in both lanes, meaning both lanes can come to the Scuttle Crab and help her out when needed, even meaning they may be able to get some early dragons. If they're able to stack the dragons early and really get the dragons before any team fights start happening, they could have that as a quick win con, meaning that they really only have to win about 1 or 2 team fights in this game to be so far ahead that the side of Gucci Gaming, they won't really be able to do anything.
And to be fair, it's also very, very important to see what is going to be the soul and the dragons that are going to be stacking up in this game. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, yes, I believe I can finally say it. Yes. Welcome to the Summoner's Rift SLE Grand Finals Team Evo against Gucci Gaming. Zath is here with me. Brillman Doctor, we are casting this. Let's go.
Brillman, you've hyped me up, man. You have hyped me up. You remember before this, we were talking about how we listen to hype music. Do you know, really get into this? Could you send me a little playlist of just the hypest moments you do, and I'll play that before every cast ends. You know, I think I'll be ready for this game, but it is looking like it is going to be a little bit more of a generic game with both teams going for a 5 point each.
I am actually very interested to see how the first level 3s are going to play out, especially in the bot lane. How much of a heavy trading are we going to see? What is going to be the fighting there? Because we have been talking about Tahm Kench and Senna being such of a sustainable lane, right? But I am just so curious to see whether it's going to be used to the advantage of Evo, or Gucci will try to force some of the fights there.
Well, there is an early ward, a little bit more defensive from both sides, having Evo place a ward in the tri-brush, while we do see Gucci Gaming having one near the red buff there. It's looking like Obsidian is starting in the top side, while Logog is on the opposite side, both starting on the blue buff.
And let's see what's going to be the jungle pathing. So Hecarim is going to end up on the top lane, but I presume we're not going to see the gank there. It's a bit easier to gank Aatrix rather than trying to go for a gank on to Horn in the meantime. These are the traits that we have been talking about. This is actually exactly the reason why it's just so hard to play against Nautilus and an Ashe on the lane. They just have so much poke and control.
You also have to remember that if they do get onto the center, they won't really be able to get away if you are this center here. Mainly because of the Ashe slows, because Nautilus stun, Ashe gets close enough, starts slowing you as well. You just really can't escape.
And don't forget that you don't get yourself untargetable, right? As soon as you go into the mist, it doesn't mean that the hook cannot be landed. You can still see and track where is your enemy.
Now, one thing I do want to talk about is Chi Savage does have the cleanse on him. So it's looking like if he does have CC on top of him, he will not get hard engagement, because if Senna does land a W, it allows the Abyssal Voyage to come in and bring a big CC chain, almost killing Savage in like one combo, I'd say.
But what is important to remember, that cleanse, I believe, is not getting rid of a knockup. So, and Yeah, I was thinking there's going to be some action over there as they were trying to get into the enemy jungle, but no. And regardless, so the clans might buy a little bit of time, but we have been talking about Evo's opportunity to go for these, not only go for these trades, but also they do have a lot of CC and a lot of tools to just lock someone up on the place too. So Cleanse being the good choice it is, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
It is going to be hard to really stop all the CC on the side of Team Evo, but there is a big trade coming out from top lane. It's looking like Bobo is not winning in the early game. On just had so much damage, even though he is a tank. But this mid lane thing, mid lane is really not going the way I was expecting. I was expecting the Azir to be pushed under tower, but it's looking like Savonix does know this champion to a T and is pushing Yeon in.
He is a little bit ahead in terms of the minions. He's indeed pushing in, and you can see that Eon opted to go into cookies, but in the meantime, I might have to hold that thought here because Lockbox is here, but can they actually find anything and force a fight here? Jeff is going extremely low. Bobo is going to be able to withstand the fight here. In the meantime, Obsidian is here. The Charm is going to land, but there's not going to be any burn. Nothing at all. Ignite is going to be ticking by Eon. A little bit of a premature one. And both of the junglers are going to disengage.
Now, Obsidian came to this mid lane not just for a kill, but to allow his mid laner to push it out. We were talking about how Eon wasn't doing too well into this Azir matchup. So his lane was slow pushing away from him, making him very dangerous to a gank. So Obsidian came in, made sure that he hard pushed that wave in, allowing him to get to safety. And that's really what happened in his top lane as well. Hecarim wasn't really looking for a gank either. He was making sure that his top laner of his own could, you know, be a little bit more safer, pushing this lane and get a good reset. Because we did see that Bobo on this top laner here was pushing in this on.
Definitely so. It's now going to be a question, where are the junglers going to be headed? Because the dragon is about to come up. It's going to be an ocean drake too, right? So I feel like it's very important, especially for Evo, to get a grasp on it in the early game, because we have been talking about the sustainability of the bot lane of Elo with villains and kill, but having an ocean drake on top of that feels almost like a blessing.
Now, we could have seen a Gucci Gaming going for it, but they decided that they have a lot of late gaming choice, that they don't want to risk anything here, even though they did have priority in the bot lane and the mid lane, as the TP did come out from Savonix there.
Now, let's see what the teams are cooking over here. Lolpok is Lolpok.
Logog. Okay, you got there, man. Good job.
I will stick with Lolpok for the time being. Maybe I'm going to be able to get into Gog bag.
Well, hear me out, right? If he makes a good play, he's low Pog, and if he makes a bad play, he's just low Gog. All right? That's how we do it.
I actually like that. I actually really like that way of thinking. In the meantime, Worlds Ender has prop for Bobo, regardless of the fact that it might be not exactly the strongest of the champions that he fights against. You can see how good of a trade he's still finding, but the Call of the Forge God is now available. Onslaught of the Shadows is not, but we see that they're trying to go onto him. The summoning is going to come there. Lologog is going to find a person, or a knockup rather, but the Flash is going to get the Darken away.
Now, Bobo does not have Flash for the next time they come to this top lane, so I'm expecting Hecarim to be coming up slightly later, maybe even bringing in Savonix with him, as Savonix does tick over to level 6 shortly.
He indeed does. The Charm is going to go through in the meantime. There's a lot of heavy trading from the top side of the map that we can see there. In the meantime, bot lane is rather much more stable. We can see that the bot lane of Evo doesn't suffer almost at all, while Loco is surprisingly not yet. Oh, look at the bot lane. In the meantime, I think we're about to have a little bit of a collision. Maybe not. In the meantime, top lane is the one to get burned too.
There is some aggressive trading happening in this top lane. Soon as Jeff reaches about one item, it's going to be a lot harder for Bobo to kill him. But Lilia there tried to steal the blue buff away from Logog, but Logog came there just in time, meaning that he does not steal it.
And now, still not having Onslaught of the Shadows for Logog is probably one of the worst news that he can possibly have, because it felt like a good time to try to go into the bot lane gank, but he can't do that without his ultimate.
But the thing is, for Logog, he does have 2 pushing lanes. This is good for giving him pressure over this dragon, but because they're not taking it here, it's really not going for their favor, because we did say about how Logog enjoys playing his early game champions and getting his team ahead, but he's not able to do that if the enemy team is just under their tower.
Absolutely. And now Lulting Lullaby is there for Obsidian. As we said, there were at the very least 2 pushed in lanes. Seems like for the time being he's not going to be looking for any guidance, but in case there's going to be a fight for the dragon in any of the foreseeable future, Evo should be winning it.
Now, we do see that Savonic does have push.
Hello.
Ash Arrow just says hi and then says goodbye there. But we do see that Nautilus did reset there, maybe going for the Withheld, deciding that he does just want to play for this bot lane. It's feeling like both these teams just want to get to this late game, believing that they can outplay these team fights.
Now, both of the neutral objectives are up on the map, and looking at the state of the map too, it feels like Evo have a little bit of a prior trying to go for that Herald, but mid lane is still not here, only now Eon is making his way. Loco starts to roam a little bit, so maybe that's the time to try to pull the trigger for themselves on that Herald, but it's yet to be seen.
Savonic did have the ultimate. He could have done a bit of a streamer shuffle to get him to his support, but decided not to. He didn't know who was behind him, as there is a little bit of a trade in the top lane.
Not even trading, but the World's End and the Onslaught of the Shadows procs him. Bobo now tries to run for his life, but there's no flash that you took earlier. First blood goes over to Gucci Gaming.
Now, for the side of Gucci, because they killed this top laner, they can grab the Rift Held. Also having Loco on top of it as well, meaning that it will be a 4 versus 2 if they did want to take a fight. As if we take a look into the bot lane, we're going to have to see if that is going to be a freeze. See if Evo is able to do anything on the side of them.
Looking at the Obsidian right now. Yeah, Ornn is here, but he can try to go for these trades. Maybe fish for a lilting lullaby. Jeff is now making his way here. Here comes another arrow. Apparently, arrows are just saying hello today.
It's seeming like they just need to be calibrated a bit. Remember, this is the first game. Some of these players may not be fully warmed up, but we're expecting the arrows to be hitting later. But because there are 3 players on the top side for Gucci Gaming, it allows Team Evo to get a little bit more vision of the dragon, placing a control ward on top of it and placing a deep ward in a bush on the blue side of Gucci.
Now with 500 gold lead in their pocket, Gucci, they are feeling much more safer around the block, but it's very important to set your eyes onto that dragon. It might be a good time right now for Evo to pull the trigger onto it and just take it, since the mid lane is pushed in, and Lilia is here, bot lane, feeling just a little bit unstable. But judging by the pinks, it seems like Chi are actually aware of it.
There was a ping coming out onto this dragon from the side of Team Evo, so it might be that they are looking for this. Gucci Gaming pushing out this bot lane, allow them to clear the vision in their jungle, give them a little bit more pressure to get to this dragon.
And look at the mid lane at the main time. Savonix just establishing domination in the CS department. Almost 20 over his adversary. That just makes him so much more dangerous if there's going to be that little skirmish for this dragon.
Well, I did talk about how Savonix is this late game carry, as we do see maybe a 3-man gank in the bot lane.
Potentially, Abyssal Voyage is going to come through. The Hawk in 2. Here comes Long, Gog, and Obsidian. Everyone is here. Cleanse is going to be used onto Drowsiness, but he's going to hold Fall Asleep. But regardless, flash away from Obsidian. Still alive. The Dawning Shadow is going to find 3 targets. So much damage coming in there from all the points across, and the Devour is going to claim the kill. But here comes the teleport from that exact Azir, and the kill is going to be claimed onto Obsidian 2. Savonix now looking for more. That's the double kill. Gucci find a brilliant answer to Evo's gank.
We really have to look at this mid lane here. We kept talking about how Savonix is just pushing and how he's just really doing so well in this mid lane matchup. Because he had so much pressure in the mid lane, he's able to TP to this bot lane, as Jeff is taking a bit of damage, but nothing's coming out of it.
I thought that there's going to be a dancing on the edge of a knife here from Bobo, but apparently he manages to find a way how to push the Ornn away. But yes, and also something that I think that we haven't really noticed, or at the very least we haven't really emphasized a lot, notice the summoner spells of the mid laners. Yes, Savonix is running teleport, but Eon is the one to run Ignite, and that allows Savonix to just claim so much control and map presence for Gucci.
Now, you have to remember what Ignite does for you in the whole entire game. It gives you kill pressure, but he really just hasn't been able to find it. Yeon on this Ahri just isn't able to find this push pressure or even find any kill pressure on to Savonix. Savonix has just been playing this lane better than Yeon right now. Allow him to use the TP and can get to this bot lane, making it a 4 versus 3, getting them the win, making it a 2v1 in this bot lane.
And Gucci now just taking all the advantages all around the place and the map. They've got the Herald, they have got the Dragon, and they're ahead in terms of gold. There's 1,000 gold lead for them. And it just seems that for the time being, Chi are the one to be fully behind the wheel.
Now we do see Loco and Hecarim in the mid lane. Gonna have to see if they do want to do anything. It's just looking like
Crystal Arrow? Ooh, that was close this time around.
Okay, like I said, it's calibrated. It's getting closer and closer. When the first arrow hits, the rest are going to hit, trust me.
I'm pretty sure that every single Ashe player is just using wall hacks.
I'm an
or aim assist.
Yeah, Ashe was the first ever champion I really got into and mained.
So what kind of a wall hack were you using?
Have you ever played CSGO? You know the
Yes,
one where
I
you
did.
spin around a ton of times really fast?
Yes.
That's what I did, yeah. So it's not a wall hack, but if I ever see anyone, it like calibrates it for me. I just press R and then it goes. That's pretty much it.
Okay, that sounds pretty much good. And now, Savage, we are going to check your computer and software after this game. Thank you very much.
As there is a light bit of trading here, but one thing I want to talk about is Ornn in this top lane is really having some good trades into Jeff here. Bobo has been having some troubles since the early game to be, you know, really winning these trades. So even here, we have a full tank Jeff able to take as much damage as he gives off.
In a certain capacity, definitely, you can see, though, that the lane has been working out relatively fine for Bobo. He is, or was at the very least, a little bit ahead in terms of CS. Grievous wounds aren't going to be picked up for Ornn too. But again, we are talking about something very, very important, which is yet another nerf of Grievous wounds. I think right now they sit at the 35% for Bramble Vest and 40% for the enhanced Grievous wounds. So it's a question how actually useful it will be in the team fights that are about to come.
Now tower plates have fallen around about a minute ago. Salt playing for towers, or really, you know, destroying a tower. If they get a kill in any of these lanes, they could probably grab first tower of the game. If they do get this bot lane to take one of the towers, they're able to push a mid lane and really open up this game even more.
And actually, Bobo might be in a little bit of trouble yet again. They found the initial knock-up, and here comes the Onslaught of the Shadows and the World's Ender. They're going to knock him right underneath the turret. Can they claim the kill, though? I don't think so. Here comes Obsidian and the Dawning Shadow, too. They're looking for more. Drowsiness is available, so the Lilting Lullaby can be used at just any given time. Here comes... Ooh, the Crystal Arrow onto Ori! And here comes kills all across the place. Obsidian is going to claim the kill onto Jeff. In the meantime, Aatrox has fallen to. Neon is now into the fight. But there's sweet footwork coming from that Hecarim, allowing Sabonix to take the first kill, and now he's chasing for more, but it is a very hard thing to chase down the deer. Yet again, Gucci find the way to answer the map play.
The Vodix is coming in clutch for Evo this game. Sorry, not for Evo, for the side of Gucci Gaming. He did have
Against Evo.
Yes, against Evo. Imagine.
Ooh, hold that thought, my friend, as Bobo is about to go in here. Savage is going to prematurely flash away. In the meantime, Loco is going to be the one to locked up in here. He will flash too, but he will not get away from his ultimate device. But here comes Jeff. Now he's about to join the fray too. Savage is now just firing from the bushes, and Jeff realizes what kind of a mistake he did and gets away. Both top laners without the flash, but Evo, not the flash, rather the teleport, sorry, but Evo are the one with the kill.
Now, because of Jeff making that mistake of using the TP too late to even help his team there, we do see that Obsidian has started this with Herald, and we were saying that everything has been going Gucci Gaming's way, but this is definitely not going Gucci Gaming's way, making sure that the CS lead, not the CS lead, the gold lead is only around about 1.5k now.
It was almost 3 just a few seconds ago, but now let's see Obsidian and Gorg are trying to force away Evo from this Herald. They're not going to be able to do that because Eon is here and Sabonix is just now making his way from the base. Also, the bot lane of Evo here too, so they're shifting all the prio towards top side of the map, and it seems like Evo are finally getting online in this game.
It's finally feeling like they are playing as a team. Before they were just farming up, trying their best to not make anything bad happen for their team. Now that they've really made a play that's going well, they got a little bit more confidence, so I'm expecting a few more plays to be coming out from the side of Evo.
Now look at the... Ooh, in the meantime, Crystal Arrow is going to hit the first target. The hook going to hit to 2. Loco had to step away, but in the meantime takes quite a lot of damage on himself too. Both supports have taken a few toss. The lick is not going to connect, is not going to take down the armor. In the meantime, yet another hook going on to Bobo. The turret is still standing, is about to slap people all around the place. The first knockup found initially, but the Devour is going to save Senna just on the spot. But Lilia is going to be the cop here too. She's going to go golden, trying to live for as long as he can, but Lolpog is going to clear that kill. Chi are looking for the dragon as the turret still stands, by the way.
Bro, that was a 4v5 and Chi Gaming won it. They didn't even have the Ashe. All they had was the Crystal Arrow to start off that fight. Otherwise, it was just a 4v5. This is the power we can see from Gucci Gaming's side. We kept talking about how good their teamfight is, and that is a clear showing of how good their teamfight is. Obsidian just really isn't at the items he needs to get to be dealing damage in these fights.
He is still struggling to get to the first one. Most likely going to go for the Luden's Echo, maybe an Everfrost, but I don't think that having 2 Everfrost is exactly good for your team, I would imagine.
Everfrost isn't the real play they are looking for. He needs a little bit more damage in his team composition to bring out, you know, well, it's hard to say. Because if he has CC, they're able to lock someone up and kill them real quickly. But I feel like his team just needs more damage, so I was...
Crystal Arrow onto villains! Hold that thought, my friend! Savonix finds the Emperor's Divide, and Lolpok yet again is going to claim that kill. Savage is now unleashed with his war hacks.
What did I say? It was calibration phase. He needed a few hours to miss, you know, shoot him out from side to side, you know, checking 5 degrees here. Wait, 2 degrees there? I think that's about right. Shoots it, slightly misses. Next one hits. Like I said, you give an Ashe really 1 or 2 hits, they are going to be hitting them for the rest of the game. It's looking like Savage has finally come online with these Ashe Rs.
And what a truck. That one is the hit. This phrase came up a little bit more messy than I have thought it's going to, but I hope it got the idea across, because Savage is setting up the picks and the team fights for Chi right now, and it just seems so much impact from him.
Now, this is one of the quieter games, I have to say, in the SLE. We usually have a lot more kills at this time. It's usually 1 minute, 1 kill at this point. So it's looking like both teams are trying to, you know, play a little bit safer in here. But we do see that Gucci Gaming does have 2 dragons, so 2 more dragons away from getting the soul, which is going to be the Hex Tech.
Yes, the Hex Gates rather are going to be unleashed. Meaning there's lots of flanking potential, something that Savonix is actually going to benefit from quite a lot, thanks to the Emperor's Divide, and finding those angles is just extremely crucial in those team fights.
Yes, as it is looking like Gucci Gaming is bringing all 5 members to this mid lane, maybe trying to get pressure to get the mid tower, looking like everybody is going to back off, realizing that maybe they don't want to take a fight, farm up, get to their first and second items, as everybody should be getting there very soon.
I wonder how much stacks this Senate already has. Because looking at what we've got on the map, is just very important to have that Senna scale up as much as possible. And with that being said, it's crucial to follow the amount of stacks. Because her range can get absolutely insane as soon as the stacks will be there. And thank you, production, for showcasing it. There's to us 77. That's an impressive number.
That is a lot of souls for the 21-minute mark. Now, you would like your Senna to get around about, I would say, 100 to 120 until she really gets online and becomes such a high-range beast that you can't really do anything against her unless you get a hard engage onto this champion, because she's just so far away that you have to flash forward almost to try and get engaged.
Exactly, right? And yes, there is a lot of very high-speed champions on the side of Chi, but will they be able to? Because again, we have been talking about the disengage tools that Evo possesses. Now, it's the question for me, will that be used to save Valiants? Or will that, in the meantime, Crystal is going to hit him again, actually, as I was speaking. Death Charge is going to find him despite the Devourness, but in the meantime, here comes Jeff looking for some more. Not going to find even a single knockup. And that's the disengaged tools I'm just talking about. But here comes Savonix, yes, trying to claim the kill. But look at the shields of that fish. It's just absolutely incredible. Makes it out of the fight. She will not find the kill in this fight.
So Chi will try to look for a team fight there because they know that they are stronger here. But because of Evo able to, stop them from getting this, they're able to get this top lane tower, giving Yeon a little bit more gold. And it's going to be a little bit stronger in this fight as both teams have around about 2 minutes. No, my apologies. 30 seconds until next Drake.
30 seconds are there indeed. A lot of cooldowns in the meantime have been brought down. Loco is going to be caught here just for a little bit of a second. Pog is now looking for a way to go in, but Poggers, he's not going to find the way in just yet. Jeff is going to return. Do not forget he has the teleport, so he will be able to get back into the fight very, very quickly.
Crystal Arrow is still not off cooldown. Same with Depth Charge. Same with the Ornhorn. So a lot of big ultimates are not hit for the side of Gucci Gaming. So when this dragon starts, they aren't in the best position. Also, Loco has not reset, and the Team Evo has a good chance of winning these fights.
It is a question, though. There's a lot of damage on the side of Savonix already. 2 items are completed, excluding the boots. This is a very scary Emperor.
Well, we do see the dragon started up here. Are they able to get into this river as Yeon does take a bit of
The
damage?
charm is going to connect into the depth charge is going to go on to kill, but it doesn't really matter as it is to support. And he is relatively tanky to withstand that. The first dragon went over to Evo. Now they're looking for more. The charm, the knockup connecting, and the onslaught of the shadow is not going to save you because the dawning shadow will find you. The shadow on the shadow. Yeon will claim the kill onto that Nautilus, and now it's Chi, the ones on the run. But look at the damage and look at the poke. Savage and Savonix trying their best to keep Evo at bay. Valiance takes so much damage in the process too, and it feels like this is everything that Evo is getting, but it's more than enough because gold is even.
We were talking about this was the chance the Team Evo had. We were saying about how the big ultimates weren't up on Gucci Gaming side, and they took full priority in this, giving themselves priority in the river, being there first, meaning that Gucci Gaming had to find a quick engage or they're just going to get poked out, and that is what's happened as they finally do take the mid lane tower. This is a lot closer of a game than it was around about a minute ago. As you said before, the gold is even having a slight lead now to Team Evo. If they keep this up, keep, disengaging and re-engaging later on, Team Evo really could take this game.
They are. I feel like they're playing a little bit of back and forth. We're going in, we're going out. We're going in, we're going out. We're going in, we're going out. And just trying to swing it around in this exact way might give them this edge of fighting against Chi, but you can't go for a very extended team fight, mainly because you've got Obsidian, Eon, and Villains, and they're not able to withstand the poke damage coming from both Savonix and Savage.
I really have to say, Savonix in these team fights, he has not died yet in this game. Neither of the carries on the side of Gucci Gaming has died in this team fights, but Savonix has dealt so much damage. He didn't use an Emperor Divide in the last fight because he decided that if he went in, he was not getting out and giving over a 500 gold. Sorry, that would be an 800 gold shutdown to the enemy team. It's just not worth it.
And also not having his Zhonya's yet, right? Neither the Stopwatch, neither Zhonya's. So yeah, you might be getting in, but there's no way for you to get out with that very crucial item. So maybe it's good to just scale up a little bit more, try to go for the Zhonya's first, and then fish for those angles.
Now, we would expect him to go for Zhonya's next item if he does want to go in, but it's looking like he's only going to use his ultimate defensively. The reason I believe he's going to do this is, if we look into his items, it's a blasting one. That does not build into the usual item you're expecting. You are expecting the Zhonya's coming out, and it just does not build into that. So it's like he is going for just more damage.
Maybe that is going to be the case. I do believe, though, that the rot that I'm looking at is a part of the build for Zhonya's. Correct me here if I'm wrong, but I do believe that it wasn't the needless rot, but this one.
Wait, I really don't think it is. Let me search it up real quick. Let me find that.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Let's see if my memory is playing tricks with me or not. But
your memory is playing tricks. Yes. It doesn't build into it.
It doesn't build into it.
No.
Okay.
We have a stopwatch, we have a fiendish codex, and a seeker's arm guard.
Yeah, it's the codex. I'm very sorry. It's the codex. That's the one. In this case, yes, indeed. I believe it does support your point that
play by play. It's all good. You just need to talk fast, like you said.
That is also true. Not necessarily, but that is also true.
I'm all jokes aside, but yeah, no. So we're expecting a lot more damage to be coming out from him. It's looking like it will be going towards a blasting one. It's looking like he's just trying to really get this AP damage into the enemy team.
Well, it has been working for him so far. The poking has been extremely good, and it forced Valiance and Eon out of those fights. Now, if you can get the one shot, or maybe even bait out the Devour from Tahm Kench with the depth charge, that means that Savonix is pretty much having a feast because he's able to bring down 3 targets on the EVO team.
Yes, but we are talking about how Savonix is getting stronger. But there are a lot of champions on the side of Evo who are getting stronger. A perfect example is this bot lane of Valiance and Evo Kill. As we do see that the stacks are coming out. If we could quickly look at them again so we can... Did you see them?
100. 100
stacks are coming out. I mean that he needs around about 20 more until he's going to be an absolute behemoth in this fight. But his ultimate in the last fight was able to connect with around about 4 players. Again, definitely I would say value.
Yeah, and claiming the kill too. I think it was a shutdown that was claimed onto Hecarim.
As we do see the side of Evo decided they want this bot lane tower. It's looking like nobody is going for the Rift Herald.
Trying to go for a little bit of a macro play here. The Baron is up and running in the meantime. Nobody's going to get attention to that. Evo will claim that turret because the dragon is just about to respawn, but the hook is going to connect onto Tahm Kench. Not a lot of targeted will be found too. Savonix, though, in the meantime, makes Eon get away. Neither of the teams want to... Oh, hold my thought over here. Onslaught of the Shadows is going to find the first target. They're going on to Bobo. Bobo, though, is still alive thanks to the Devour. And look at the... Oh, my God! 4-man knocker from that on with the Emperor's Divide. Savonix finds the clutch. Quadra kill for him as well. Looking for Penta. Will we see it? Or he's going to go golden, but the ultimate demise is just there. Pentakill for the Emperor of Shurima.
Now that is what I call a wombo combo. Now Jeff in the top lane on this on, able to get a 4-man knockup with the Emperor's Divide as well. On top of that, it was Savonix's dream. We've been saying about how strong he has been in this mid lane, having 3 items in that fight. No wonder he got a pentakill. He is so far ahead from his enemy lane again. 88 CS above and 6 kills above that as well, allowing them to get this Baron here, meaning that it's all Gucci Game inside, ballooning up this gold lead up to 3.5k.
Savonix feels himself as caps right now because he is running his nickname as Fnatic Savonix, and you cannot judge the man. It puts Gucci Gaming in such of a great position. They do have right now all the tools. They have the Soul Point, they have the Baron, and they have almost a 5k gold lead.
For Savonix's items, he is half an item off being full build at 30 minutes.
Also running with 10 stacks on Magi's.
And he gets an on item as well straight away. So look at that damage that is going to be coming out. I think it's called Luden's Tempest, if I am correct.
You are correct. Absolutely, it is Luden's Tempest. Oh, no, it's actually Eye of Luden.
Is that what the normal one's called? Luden's Tempest?
No. Luden's Echo, I believe, or Tempest is the normal one. Yes, it previously had been called Luden's Echo, but now probably it's Tempest, yes. And this one is, because every single on item gets a new name. But enough about the names, because look at that. Chi are trying to siege in Evo's base. They will not find the initial stack onto it just yet, but there's going to be another turret summoned thanks to the passive of the Emperor. Here we go. The turret is not going to connect, but the Arrow Ash will. In the meantime, the Call of the Forge God are going to be used too with the Onslaught of the Shadow, finding quite a lot of targets. Bobo again trying to stay alive for as long as he can, and will be able as well, but another 3-man knockup. Jeff just finds those knockups as a dream. Valiance will be claimed with such of a range. Savonix is on the rampage, godlike is the Emperor, and by the looks of it, Gucci are closing the game in that series with the first win.
People say that top laners can't carry, but if you see Jeff's performance in this game, I would say I would differ that. Though in the last 2 team fights, he was able to get so much, and it's just looking like Gucci Gaming has woken up today. Losing last time does not mean they're going to lose this time, as they do take first game over Team Evo.
Fantastic performance from Gucci Gaming, and some very intricate plays from Evo coming in there. So some congratulations to Savonix. In the very first game, we do get our first pentakill, and I do sincerely hope it's not going to be the last.
I do not believe that is going to be the last. But Brillman, I believe that we should take a little rest for ourselves. But isn't going to be a rest for you guys watching. We are going to send it over to our beautiful analyst desk, who will be Rengo and Sanix, to talk about such a hype game with even a pentakill. This is the SLE finals, as we're going to send you over to them.
Yes, thank you very much, Brillman and Setos. If my co-host is here as well, Zenix.
I am.
He is here as well. Setos is forgetting to leave the room. There we go.
No, it's fine. He looks beautiful. Who doesn't want to watch him?
I want to watch him every day after a cast of that caliber together with Broman. And what a game did they give them? The Vonix with, I think, if I recall correctly, the third pentakill of Split 2 SLE. Someone is gonna
it has to be something like that.
Someone
right?
is gonna fact check me super hard in chat probably, because that's why we have Twitch chat. But yeah, what a game, and he got the bird, and he showed why it's pretty much permabanned against him. So are we just gonna say Evo has to ban Azir here if they want to go through and keep a fighting chance?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Azir is definitely something that did a lot, but you're mentioning Sovonix is Azir there, but all I see that fight is Jeff's Ornn getting that 4-man knockup, really enabling that Emperor's Divide on the whole team of Evo. It was such a big knockup. It did so much for Sovonix there to actually give him the time to get in position, actually ult everyone, and up until that point. We were mentioning this before about how, Evo kind of has these messy early games and then they start bringing it back. And it did start looking like it might be, swinging into Evo's favor, especially once that mid lane fight happened. Senna got those kills, they got the shutdowns. The gold swung in favor. It went even from a 3k deficit, I think, at a point for, it was in Gucci's favor, then went even. And at that point, with the team comp that Evo had, they have a Senna, they have an Aatrox, they have an Ari mid with a TK that's really tanky and enabling, just you can move people out. We saw that happen in a team fight with the Aatrox and Lilia. A lot of champs that scale well into the late game. So it was starting to look sketchy, but yeah, Jeff and Sovonix finding that fight, just very well done from the side of Gucci there.
Yeah, they definitely had a time bomb taken there on Evo's side. Evo, Senna with the high scaling and Kens just being an insane late game tank. They had the time bomb, but Sovonix and Jeff just diffused it. They were the bomb squad. They went in, and the pentakill by Sovonix says it all. The outstanding performance. Looking at the draft from both sides, outside of the SDR.
Before we go into draft, I just want to mention that fight where Sovonix did get the pentakill. Obsidian on Lilia actually used his rolling bowling ball. He went bowling, and he hit Jeff only, I think it was. And he ulted one person, and that was just such a big cooldown off from the side of Evo that really just allowed Gucci to just take the fight and roll over them at that point. Because if that ult did hit major key targets in the fight, it would have been, I think, a different story.
Yeah, for sure. It was clear that T recognized the window of opportunity that they got there and capitalized on it perfectly with insane ulti, or like insane CC from Jeff, and Sovonix just murdering the rest of Evo. So looking at the draft, I think both drafts were good, to be honest. I think both. I like both drafts, but Sovonix got his OTP, kind of saying, his main champion, his golden chicken. And he showed why he's so renowned on it. So let's talk about how do you solve this as Evo, and how as G, because as G you're expecting that bird to be gone. You're not expecting to get it again.
The bird's not going to be there. I think also another thing that played a major factor in Sovonix actually having as much pressure as he did is Yeon running Ignite. As the caster said before during the game, Ignite's obviously, something you want to go for kills. You want to get that, jungle presence, and you just want to get that kill pressure off and snowball yourself through the game. And that didn't happen with the Ignite. Obviously, what that means is Sovonix can get lane prio, shove in the waves, and it just means that Yeon is kind of stuck to the lane. He can't really move, because if he moves, he loses XP. he can't TP because he doesn't have it. So he can't really generate that map pressure and tempo that Evo kind of needs. Obviously, by the time those team fights roll up, Azir is a very strong late scaling champion. And, you know, Ari not getting those early leads, she's obviously like an enabler on mid laner. And there was, you know, no one to really enable. There was not a lot of, you know, map pressure on mid lane from the from Obsidian onto Sovonix. And I think that is probably something that Team Evo will be looking to achieve in game 2 here against them.
Yeah, for sure, and they will have 5 bans now, right? That's a big decider here as well. So because of their substitute situation, they did not have 5 bans here, leaving open the bird, leaving open Bjorn. I also want to talk a bit about the S, because I think the arrows, the casters were about he's calibrating it.
Yeah,
And
he was
once he
but he
calibrated
calibrated
it,
really well, right?
yeah, he became America's sniper. So, do you feel like Ash is something that Evo has to pay respect to as well, or do you think Evo can answer this by a hyper-aggressive lane? Because Ash, of course, not the most mobile champion.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, once you have Tam Kench, Senna as well, right? You can look for those engages, especially when Nautilus moves around. So you kind of have that aggression already there. You know, obviously the Ashe that game was kind of playing a utility role, you know, with just the ults, also the build, you know, going executioners, going runans. It just means, look, I'm sacrificing a lot of my damage to just apply my slows and, you know, healing debuffs across the whole team. And, you know, Ashe did that fine, right? But there was a double-edged sword, right? Because when you go that on Ashe, you're losing out on a lot of DPS. And realistically, when you look at, you know, Gucci's team comp last game, they had the Ornn, right? Tank assassin, DPS, ADC, whatever you want to call him. But in the end, it's still a tank. They have the Hecarim jungle, which also did go a tank variation of the build. And a Nautilus support with more of a utility Ashe, right? So at that point, most of their DPS was the Azir, and they were really banking on that, right? And if the Azir was behind in that game, it would have been a very, very different game because Gucci would have lacked a lot of damage. But you know, if in game 2, if it's going to be the same way, right, with the mid laner getting a lot of resources in Sovonix and just generating the lead that he did, then the Ashe is completely fine, even with the Runan's second item.
Yeah, for sure. Something we can talk about as well is the Aatrox Ornn matchup. We all know Ornn is an assassin, but do we feel that Bobo maybe dropped the ball? He did get ganked a few times. He did get the weak side with the, or like the short. He drew the short stick with the ganks. But isn't that a matchup where you feel like at one point the Aatrox should become a menace and should push the Ornn in and get some freedom, or do you think that the jungle pressure that Lowcourt put Bobo under was enough and actually resulted in this result?
You see, the thing with, obviously, you know, he was winning out those early trades even on Aatrox, right? He said that Ornn is an assassin. Assassins got nerfed this patch or 12-10, but tanks got buffed. So, you know, Ornn is a, you know, it didn't hit him, right?
Yeah.
He's still he's an assassin tank now, not just an assassin. But yeah, no, he was winning out those early trades. Obviously, Hecarim gank gets the flash out. And then he was in a very weird situation where his wave was there. He was under tower very low, didn't want to drop the wave. Once he died, he lost almost 2 waves of minions as well because his TP wasn't up. And at a point, you know, where you would want to see the Aatrox more on a side lane to generate that pressure, because Aatrox is a champion that can do those 1v2s, 1v3s, and just take a lot of time and resources to actually kill him. That wasn't really happening because, you know, that second Herald on mid, they didn't get the tower. The tower lived with 100 HP, and you know that tower was, you know, just a real burden for the side of Evo because you need to break that tower to basically just go through the game and just
open
right?
the map and get
You
more.
need to open it up, yeah.
Get
And that
more
didn't
dark
happen.
pockets, and that's definitely something Evo needed because when you're playing a Lilia comp, you need to go bowling, right? You go fishing.
Yeah.
The same what you do kind of with Ashe, but having looking at Evo's comp, they have more of a more fishy kind of engage. Chi definitely able to throw out the Nautilus hook and the ultimate.
Was that a pun with the fishing gauge?
I
'cause they have
noticed
a
it.
thumb catch?
I noticed
Yeah.
it halfway through, and then the Nautilus fishing hook. I thought, am I gonna go full pun here? But
Yeah,
I'm not
I mean,
freak. I'm
yeah,
not
but-
freak. I can't do that like him. So yeah, Evo lacked a bit of heart engage outside of Philia Sleep. I feel like they didn't have the ways to start the fight as G had, and I hope Evo drafts a bit more consistent engage. And for G,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what they did have, right, is once you have the Tahm Kench, you don't really need to, go so far in on engage, right? You get engaged on, Tahm Kench devours your carry, devours whoever's getting engaged on, repositions him, and then you're like, oh, look, you guys used all your cooldowns? Well, we're just gonna go on you now, right? And that's kind of what they were doing. But, that one fight, Lilia burns the ult, and it just swings, and yeah, we saw the pentakill. It was, again, the thing that I'm seeing from Evo in the whole of playoffs here, actually in the whole of season, is the drafts they're opting for. Obviously, a lot of teams go for these, quite straightforward. We're just gonna press our buttons, engage in, and go for the team fight. And it's gonna happen. We're gonna fight, and we're gonna rely on our good team fighting and our good engaging and just good timing and flanks, right? To get these disengages. What Evo likes to do is they like to draft team comps in a way that doesn't really have a lot of engage, but has a lot of good like repositioning tools and re-engage tools. And this is kind of what the draft was, and it didn't really work out. And I think this is also one of the reasons why, obviously, SLE, as I think Zato said in the cast, that by 20 minutes we would have already had like at least 1 kill per game, right? Like 1 kill per minute, and it was a very slow-paced game. And this is what's happening in this series, right? Obviously, it's they have a comp that's kind of hard to engage on. Gucci has a comp that just really wants to engage, so you need to bide your time, find the right angle, the right timing to go in. And if you have just a team comp like they do, where it's hard to engage, good turn, yeah, obviously it's hard, and they can just turn and win the fight.
Yeah, and with that, draft is almost ready to go on its way, and we're gonna give it back to our beloved Casas, and we will be here again after another, I hope, banger of a game like this.
Yeah, obviously, if it's gonna be anything like this one, it's gonna be quite good.
Thank you very much, Analyst S. That was Ringo and Sanix for you as we are back to look at the second game of our Best of 5 Series Grand Finals of SLE in quite of a dominant fashion, I would even say. Good Chi have taken the first game with the pentakill in the third one in the split.
Now, Gucci Gaming are on fire now. They've calibrated their arrows. They've allowed Savonix to get to late game. But there was good things coming out from the side of Evo as well. It isn't all Gucci Gaming in the last game. We did see that Evo did have a slightly weaker team comp, at least personally, I do believe. But they were able to find a few fights, a few times where their team comp was a little bit stronger, and they really abused that. So maybe in the next draft, they're able to find a comp that's, a little bit more their style, a little bit stronger. They really do have a good chance of winning next game.
I really feel like also the point that Rango made is extremely valid in terms of trying to ping down Azir and ban him out, not let Chi play them at all, because you could see just how much efficient that Azir was in the game.
Now, that's the benefit of having, these 3 extra bans now. So Team Evo is able to ban out the Azir, the Trundle, and the Volibear. They really do believe that those are the 3 champs that they just cannot play against. It does still leave open the Ashe. It does leave open a lot of these other strong picks, like the Hecarim as well. So even though Team Evo do have a bare chance in this game, it's still going to be very hard for them to ban out everything Gucci Gaming can play.
You can't always ban everything. That is absolutely true. But you at least can get down some of those very high priority picks. So let's see what is happening as drafts are already on their way, and the blue side now belongs to Chi, as this is exactly the bans that we see. Trundle, Volibear, and Azir. Nautilus is going to be picked up for Loco, as if it works, just stick to it.
Yes, we were talking about how strong Loco is on these Hook Champions. It's looking like Gucci Gaming does understand this. They instantly first pick the Nautilus in. But yeah, I think we're prophets here, Brillman. We're able to decide what Team Evolution needs to ban to get them a win here. But we'll have to see what Team Evolution is going to pick into the Nautilus. They could go for more of an Enchanter route, go a little bit safer, because the Tankhead setup wasn't really going too bad for them last game.
Definitely wasn't. Now, although Brom is going to be picked up for Team Evolution. Seems like they're going for a little bit of a different combination. Maybe we will see an introduction of Kaisa, maybe the introduction of Jinx, as she is the champion that is still pretty much viable on the patch thanks to her snowballing possibilities.
We're talking about some hyper carries could be coming out as well. So Kog'Maw isn't as strong into the meta right now because of a few nerfs coming to him, but Vayne is very strong. So maybe a Vayne could come in later, but Team Evolution does decide to pick up one of the strongest picks, which we usually do see in the top lane or jungle of the Wukong.
Wukong, of course, is going to provide a lot of engage. This is the consistent engage that, again, our analyst desk has been talking about. Lotsing Lullaby, of course, always very important, but the opportunity to throw yourself into the fight and just cyclone your way through it is something that Team Evolution might have been lacking in the previous game.
As it is looking like the Kog'Maw is going to get picked in. Now, I did say that he is a little bit weaker now, but Kog'Maw is still such a strong champion because of the durability changes, allowing him to get more armor, more health, and magic resist. I mean, if you can't one-shot this Kog'Maw, he's definitely going to one-shot you straight away after. So Bel'Veth is getting almost locked in. I'm not sure if they are able to play it on the patch, but we'll have to see if GCG Gaming does know this. It's looking like they do.
It's going to be actually a Gnar blind pick on the top lane, a very, I would say, safe pick coming from Gucci at this point. In the meantime, talking just about this Kog'Maw, the true damage is something extremely important since the patch of 12.10. Now, with true damage, you can try to pierce through anyone, including even Braum, as Aphelios is going to be locked in for Team Evo.
Now, you do say that they can pierce through the Braum, but when he has that shield up, he does give your team a little bit of time of safety against this Kog'Maw, because he's able to take so much damage from the Kog'Maw that the rest of the team is able to get on top of him. If this Wukong is able to get into the backline with a Braum ultimate or one of the stacks of Braum, Kog'Maw, after this CC, he will not be alive. And this is why you have a Nautilus and a Gnar to try and give a little bit more protection to this Kog'Maw.
And of course, with Gnar, you have such of a good engage, whether it's going to be a follow-up or the primary engage. Primary engage is most likely going to be Nautilus, as the hook is much more easier to hit. But with the Gnar ultimate, Gucci can find themselves a very big angles into conducting those team fights, especially where our walls around, meaning Dragon and Baron or Herald Pit.
As it is looking like the last few bans are coming out, this LeBlanc pick is looking like Gucci Gaming understands how strong Yeon is on this pick. So, banning that and making sure that the Kog'Maw is able to survive as Team Evolution is banning out the mid jungle with a Orianna and Hecarim.
The last bans are coming in. Ornn is going to be banned out from Team Evolution, as Ornn is pretty much okay into Gnar, I would say. I'm not sure with the familiarities of the laning phase, but I would say it's a good one. But here comes Malphite, and I believe there's a certain history.
Well, we talked about engage, and there's engage. This is exactly what Team Evo needed, and you were talking about a bit of history. Now, we do know that Jeff does adore this Malphite pick, so not having himself on it, he may be a little bit upset, but if you know how to play a champion, you know how to counter a champion, so we'll have to see what they are going to do to counter it. It's looking like Zabonix does like the Silas into it, giving himself the Malphite ultimate. We said they wanted the Malphite ult, and they are going to grab it.
Not even Malphite, but just look at the plethora of the ultimates that Team Evo has right now. And now all of those ultimates belong to Gucci as well. There are two ways of engaging a fight for them. And now they have on top of it either Glacier Fissure, Cyclone, or even Unstoppable Force.
Now, I adore this Poppy pick. This allows Braum to not be able to jump in as well. Because imagine he gets on top of this Aphelios, stops the jump from the Braum, meaning that Kog'Maw is able to kill him. Or even if they don't go that route, if Malphite jumps in, you need the Wukong to re-engage with his ultimate. But remember, his W now, the one that makes a clone, is a stun, or sorry, a dash, meaning the Poppy is able to negate that.
Exactly.
Meaning that they are not going to be able to get onto this Kog'Maw.
Gucci right now, with those last two picks, found themselves an extreme angle into this fight, as Zoe will be locked in for Team Evolution.
The America's definitely coming out today for you, Brillman. But no, this
Yeah.
Zoe pick is very well. I would say it's a decent pick for them. The reason it's a decent pick is they know that they can't really fully engage anymore, so they need poke. They already have an Aphelios, which we do know has a very strong poke with his good items and with his ultimate as well, able to get a little bit of damage off before this fight starts. But imagine if Zoe hits a sleepy trouble bubble onto this Kog'Maw. Even if you can't instantly dash onto him, you can still walk into his face and then get the engage off. So this is looking like it trying is to kill this Kog'Maw as well.
The only, I would say, not trouble, but the only danger I feel right now in the draft of Gucci is there going to be enough damage? Because Team Evo do have a lot of very tanky champions. There's Braum, there's Malphite, and there's Wukong, who can be opted in a little bit of a more bruiser type of a character. Now, with that being in mind, yes, you've got the Kog'Maw, but then you look at the rest of Team Gucci, and Silas does need a little bit of time to get his 2 items and then start to power spike. And Poppy plus Gnar, they don't really have that much damage.
But Brillman, you have to remember Silas has healing, and that's very important for these fights because you do have the Braum, the Wukong, and the Malphite that want to go into your face. And this is what Silas does because they don't have enough damage to instantly kill him, allowing Silas to heal his way back up and outmaneuver them in these fights. And with the Poppy as well, giving him a little bit more of CC, giving him a little bit more of safety. Even if Kog'Maw does die, it's going to be up to this Silas to do enough damage. But if they kill the Kog'Maw, I do believe the Team Evolution are going to win this.
I do feel like right now they do have that little bit of an edge. On the other hand, again, we are talking about the amount of very important ultimates that can be used for the side of Gucci Gaming. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to provide the immediate damage because the Keeper's Verdict is going to send at least one person away. And if you send one very important person away, like Braum, like Wukong, or maybe like Malphite after the initial engage, maybe you are going to find your way into this fight because, again, Keeper's Verdict to keep someone out of the fight, and then Malphite's ultimate into somebody like Aphelios, and in the later stages of the game, Silas will be able to force Aphelios down.
Yeah, but remember, we keep talking about how Silas could use a Malphite ultimate, but look at the enemy team. He has 4 really strong ultimates to use. Braum ultimate can be engaged. Wukong can be engaged. Even Aphelios, if he has the slow gun, is able to slow down their enemy and being engaged by itself. So there's many different options. And now, if you're not feeling like a Silas, if you're not feeling like you want Silas to engage for you, you still have the Nautilus. So imagine a Poppy is able to push away 1 or 2 players, making it a 3v5, for example. Nautilus, with the depth charge, is able to get his team in there and allow this Kog'Maw to wreak havoc. It's all on this Kog'Maw this game.
This team composition seems very, very interesting from Gucci Gaming, as they have extreme amounts of tools, but do they have a way to actually use those tools? More importantly, will they be allowed to use those tools coming against Team Evo? Because on paper, yes, right now Gucci seems to have so much ways of conducting those team fights, but one good and very swift initiation from Evo might shut down all the hopes for Gucci.
Now, we do know that Wukong does get strong around the level 6 mark, so I'm expecting a lot of priority going to the bot lane for both of these junglers, because Poppy, she usually likes to go for the Predator now, allowing her to get onto an enemy player or, really be able to make plays. So if Poppy is able to get into, the faces of the bot lane of Team Evolution in this early game, I'm expecting Gucci Gaming to be getting a lead.
We will have to see how this is going to play out because neither of the teams are about to give a notch. Ladies and gentlemen, reminding you, in the previous game, Team Evolution have managed to pick themselves up the first win into this best of 5 series. Probably shortly, we're going to be going into the Summoner's Rift, and let us actually see who has the advantage right now. But Chi are definitely looking strong.
Gucci Gaming are looking strong for sure. Now, if we want to talk about lanes a little bit more in depth, we keep talking about this bot lane, so we should really understand and get into the nitty gritty of how this bot lane will work. It is a Nautilus Kog'Maw versus a Braum Aphelios. So Kog'Maw does have a little bit more push pressure than the Aphelios because of the amount of damage that his, usual auto attacks do deal. But if Aphelios does have the flamethrower gun, I'd like to call it. He will be getting a push in this lane. But I would mainly say that Team Evolution will have a little bit more of a chance of a fight in the early game because of how much damage the Braum can tank. And if he tanks a hook, he's able to stun up the Nautilus and really, shred him down.
To be fair, not only Nautilus is extremely survivable in those early stages due thanks to the shields, but he also possesses a lot of damage on his own. People really often underestimate the amount of damage that guy with an anchor can throw at you. So if the focus will be on point from the Gucci's bot lane, I feel like they might be able to get themselves a very good trade.
We'll have to see. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, though, is this mid lane matchup. We kept talking about how Savonix is one of the strongest key points of Gucci Gaming, how he's their late game security. But on Sylas, is that as much of a late game security as the Azir? I would say no. Now, you have allowed your Kog'Maw, your player of Savage, to be the one, to be your late game reassurance, which we usually don't see. We usually see him to be a little bit more of the secondary damage on the Ashe like last time. So it's a different look from the side of Gucci Gaming. So it's not as safe as we usually see them.
Definitely not. On the other hand, this Sylas is going to provide so much in the mid lane, not in the mid lane, but the mid game. Sorry. Right? He's going to provide the damage. He's going to provide the healing. He's going to provide the lockups as well, since he does have a very good knockup that can give the time to everyone, including Kog'Maw, to just get the shots fired rapidly. With that being said, maybe to drag the game into the later stages and allow Kog'Maw to reach his full potential, or maybe even try to close the game in the mid stage, since there's a lot of champions that will feel rather comfortable in the mid lane. Not the mid lane, but the mid game. Why am I confusing mid game with the mid lane? Just because, apparently.
It's all good. Well, if you want to feel a bit better, mostly mid game is evolving around the mid lane, usually the mid tower, or Rift Held. So it's kind of in that area, Brillman.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. Trust me, I get confused a lot more. But one thing I want to talk about is, have you ever played Braum in the top lane?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Got a little bit of a tangent. Hail of Blades Braum top lane.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I know that.
It is so fun. Have you ever casted someone playing it?
Yes, I did. I actually did in some of the amateur leagues. I've been doing it, and that was hilarious.
Did they win?
I actually think so, yeah.
Imagine winning on Braum top lane. I was going against a Renekton and almost a 1v1 in killing him. Somehow, Braum top lane was just built different. But, enough about some random shenanigans. We are just getting into game.
And it is going to be a very big game for sure. As ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to welcome you to the Summoner's Rift, the second rendition of the SLE playoffs. Reminding you again, Gucci managed to take the game in the first match of this series. Here we go.
For everybody at home, this is a best of 5. So we do need to see Gucci Gaming winning 2 more games if they do want to, win the whole SLE. They have come so far to get here. Both of these teams were not expected to be getting this far. Both of these teams did not finish first or second in the regular split. That went over to RT1 and the side of VTG, which both teams have been taken out by the side of Gucci Gaming.
And do not forget, both of those teams, they have a history. They are their rivalries. They know each other. They have played against each other. And now they're supposed to collide for the last time.
If everybody does remember, Team VTG did take out, sorry, my apologies. We did see Team Evo take out Gucci Gaming in the semi-finals last time. So, we do have Gucci Gaming having a little bit of a revenge story coming out here. And it's looking like a normal start coming out from both teams, as we do see Obsidian in the top lane starting on red, pathing to the bot side. So we see Logog side from the top side to bot, looking like both teams really understand that the win con is this bot lane.
We will have to see how both of those teams will play it out. Especially, I'm going to be interested how the trades are going to go in for the bot laners. As we've seen, actually, I'm speaking of it, and here comes the trades already.
Now, this is the power of the Kukri. He just had so much auto-attack damage. Now, because Villains wasn't able to proc the passive of Braum, as you need to get 4 hits off and he only hit 3, it is going to be a worthwhile trade from the side of Gucci Gaming.
I feel like the level 2 and level 3 spikes are going to be just extremely important for both of them, and we can see that now Evo are actually pushing for that early level 2 to try and get some good early trades.
Also, Logo did decide to go for the Predator. We were talking about this before. It gives him so much ganking pressure. And you may not see Poppy jungle that much, but he has a really good clear path as well. He is slightly behind the Wukong, but he did go for 3 camps against 2, so they're around about the same right now.
And look at that, only now Chi are getting their second levels. Savage already took quite a hefty trade over the... Ooh, in the meantime, Lolpok actually going to have to hold that thought here. Drowsiness is going to go through. Eon will not be able to jump out of it just yet. With the flash away, though, will be able to electrocute the Otters and the minions. I think the last proc might get him. No, but the potion gets him alive. Logog is just... incredibly lucky, but look at Obsidian in the meantime, might be fishing for something over here. Savonix standing there as a watcher, but no, Obsidian will not find the first blood.
I'd say it's a little bit more of a trade.
Neon now looking for more, and so Savonix gets things to the range and thanks to his empowered Q, but I don't think that the kill are coming in just yet, unless Obsidian decides to throw himself into this fight, but I don't believe he will, not now at least.
This is devastating from the side of Gucci Gaming, as a small pick does come out looking like it's not. Obsidian is trying to fight off this red buff.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here, as Eon is also making his way here. That's a sleep drowsiness into Logok. He gets so much damage with the flash on top of him, but look at the Poppy. The footwork is just there, and with the flash forward, the hook is going to get him just by the tip. First blood over to Savage. In the meantime, Savonix gets onto the chasing onto Eon. He doesn't have his flash. The drowsiness is going to come in, and it's just such of a long nap after a good lunch. Zoe has escaped out of this fight.
So, Team Evo, it was looking so good for them. They went, well, we saw the Gucci Gaming tried to go 2v1 in the mid lane, bringing Logog in, trying to get a little bit of an engage, but Logog got chunked out so much they had to go for a reset and allowing Obsidian to steal some caps away. But because of Obsidian waiting too long to do it, it allowed the bot side of Gucci Gaming to come in and just destroy him. The flash came out from Loco, meaning that it was going to be a 1-0 from the side of Gucci.
And now they take that early advantage with all it's worth, but maybe Eva are looking for a little bit of redemption, trying to go into Savonix, but Savonix is just going to casually run around and run away from the potential threats. And yes, another thing I really want to talk about too is I'm very curious about how Chi are going to play out their bot lane, because if they decide to rotate their bot lane towards Herald or towards mid or towards top, then what Evo can do is to send Braum there, but left of Violence to just take down those turrets, because we know how good is Aphelios in bringing down turret plates.
If he's able to get the white chakrams on him, he will be able to just absolutely obliterate these towers. You've seen those clips of Aphelios with the red and white gun, and you know how much damage does happen.
Yeon, hold that thought. Is he going to make his way here? He's going to try to dodge it away. Yeon doesn't find it. It's a whoosh. But the Braum's passive is going to proc there. He's trying to stay alive for as long as he could. But now finally Evo find their way into the first kill.
Yeon is looking like a new player in this game. Last game, he wasn't having too much pressure against Savonix, as Savonix was on one of his main champions on the bird of Shurima. So having Yeon onto, you know, a little bit more of a pick type champion has really been working out for them, as they did get a kill back.
Now, might be looking for a new play here on the top two, but Obsidian, not top but mid rather, but Obsidian gets out of the harm's way, just hopping over the wall with that dash that we have been showcasing in the draft position. Seems like both of the teams are going to go into the bit of a stalemate. And actually, looking at the timers, it's Ocean Drake time yet again.
Ocean Drake has been spawned. We're going to have to see if any of these teams want to be going for it. Nobody has real priority over it yet, as we do see Poppy going to the enemy jungle, trying to, you know, spot sign out, maybe look for a gank, just place a control ward, and might just go back to farming.
By the looks of it, exactly what he's going to do. Looking for his crooks, as that's the only cap that he's going to have respawn right now. Red buff is still standing for Obsidian, so he's able to just dump it up and try to go for it. But looking at the priority, ooh, actually, look at that. That's a long extended gank here, and there's no wards either. Ooh, Evo with the flash forward onto Savage, but here comes Poppy. That might be the crucial ground here, but here comes Obsidian too. So that's a 3-on-3 and no more numbers advantage, and I think that both teams are just going to disengage from that. In the meantime, Savonix tries to go for more, gets some of the proc too, but the damage from Ian is way too much. Savonix is just forced out of his lane.
Both junglers are reading each other like a book. Gucci Gaming wanted to try and get their Cogmore ahead, and Obsidian knew this. So he went to the bot side, made sure they were safe. And because they won the fight in the bot lane, they're able to gain pressure, push in the wave, and grab this Ocean Drake.
With that first one colliding, I'm actually wondering if we're going to see the same set, or maybe even the same soul in this game. We'll have to see. The next one was, we're actually going to be Hextech, at least somewhat of a consistency.
See, we have a little bit of a difference from last game. But now, I want to talk about this top lane real quick. We do see that Jeff has a slight gold lead with around about 10 CS after all of these minions disappeared here as a small
Savage, hold that thought. Savage had to flash away some trading here in the top lane too. But I think that bot lane got away.
Yeah, bot lane did get away there, but Jeff has just been pushing out this top lane. This is the power of the Gnar. He is really good just not having a lot of people around him, because he's able to attack from so far away that he's able to keep these tank bruisers in line and keep them in and really under their tower, as he does still have around about a 20 CS lead now.
Might be interesting to see how are they going to try to utilize it. Now, teleports are not still available. They are on cooldown when it comes to Gucci, but there is a teleport on the side of Boba. I want to point out also that Eon yet again is not running teleport. He's again going with an Ignite rather than anything else. In the meantime, there might be a gank here in the mid, but I think that Poppy didn't find the right angle. There's some scrappy fights here in the bot lane too.
Now it's looking like he is just trying to get the mid priors. There's a
Ooh,
big
hold I thought Jeff gets the ultimate. The stuns are proccing, but I don't think there's enough damage, and the unstoppable force is going to be used so wisely here onto Jeff. Obsidian might be looking to claim the kill. There are no wards, or there is actually one, as Jeff now runs for his life. Obsidian with the flash forward, he really wants to try to claim that kill. The Cyclone is going to be used too. The Conquer is going to proc, but you cannot find the Gnar, as he will get away with the use of flash.
Flash from the side of Jeff and Obsidian. But one thing I want to talk about is Jeff is having constant prio in this lane. So if they do want to rotate their bot lane to this mid lane, we can see Gucci Gaming again this Rift held. But right now, Evo does have more pressure, but it's looking like top lane needs a reset, so they're not going to go for it.
We have seen pings coming from most likely Obsidian, trying to maybe set his team up to go and take that Herald. Crucial for both of the teams, really, as the gold is pretty much stable. It is even between the teams. So it feels like one of them really needs this little bit of a push towards the winning condition. And Herald might be exactly that winning condition, because he can help you to crack up some of the important lanes and basically unlock the map for you, for example, by taking down the mid lane turret.
If they do not want to take the Rift Held, they do have Dragon coming up in 2 minutes 30. As Logog is just consistently around this mid lane, as Obsidian has read the play, is waiting as well.
Shadowing from that Poppy is just way too much, and here she comes going onto that Poppy. She's gonna slam her into the wall, and the damage is coming through and through, claiming the kill for Savonix. The kill will be donated towards the carry mid laner.
We know how scary Savonix can be when he gets a lead, and that is exactly what he has. He will be catching up to the CS lead. It was up to 10 CS, but now is going to really come down to around about 5. But Logog has been reading this map like a book, having only about 4 CS less as he does start up Rift Herald.
Bobo is here to maybe try and do something about it. He has the unstoppable force, so he may opt into using that, but Savonix makes his way here too. And again, Yuan doesn't run the teleport, so he's not able to join his comrades quick enough to try to contest it, but Wukong might be looking for a way to go in. Bobo now getting himself over there too. This Herald is going down really slow, and now Bobo is the one with the stolen ultimate. Unstoppable force is going to be used. A lot of knockups, but he will be able to get out thanks to his tank in this double cyclone onto 2. Here comes Eon, gets a lot of damage across, but here comes the denial from that Poppy as all of them drop the Herald. Here comes Loco, though, finding the initial hook onto first one. The death charge onto Bobo, to Savonix with the flash forward, but he's out of mana. Not able to do anything. The Poppy with the first down. Obsidian is now still alive with the clone. Maybe, but no. Yeon will hop a little bit around, but the kill will be claimed. That's 2 more kills for the side of Chi, but not a lot of a goal lead thanks to the turret plates picked up by Valiants and the first turret too.
Now, the first tower does go over to the side of Evo. They may have lost the fight, but they aren't losing around the map as they are winning with a big gold lead. And it's onto the members you want. It's onto your AD carry. Your ADC so far ahead, you cannot do anything against him. It was looking so well from the side of Team Evo in the top side, though. They went for a fight. It was a 3 versus 2. They thought they could engage, but because of Savonix stealing the Malphite ultimate and going onto Malphite himself, they were able to lock him up with huge CC, meaning that they were almost able to kill him, meaning that they were able to, retake this fight. And then Loco coming up as well just meant that they just couldn't lose the fight because it was a 4 versus 3.
And now with Glacial Fisher, Savonix just really looks forward to try and do everything in order to prevent Evo from looking in and taking that dragon. This is going to be the first dragon for them. Loco, in the meantime, finds the hook onto Obsidian, but it's a Wukong after all. He can go into the stealth with the help of the clone. The dragon is going to down relatively quickly, and now Savonix is in the pit too. But a lot of flank maneuvers incoming too. Loco takes a lot of damage from the rest of Evo. That's way too much, maybe even to tank. And they claim the first kill. The second going to be used too. Poppy popped up on the place as well. Jeff is now running for his life, but the unstoppable force is going to knock him in the air, and in the air, the kill will be done too. That is 3 more for Evo.
Uchi Gaming was able to get in, was not able to get out. They didn't have a clear plan of getting out there because all of them were going around the tower plate, but nobody had a flash or a dash to get over that wall. Because Savonix came in, it was a 5 versus 5, but because everybody's around you, flanking you all at the same time with huge poke coming out from Violence and you, and before the fight even started, there was no way you're going to win this, just making a gold lead go higher and higher from the side of Evo.
Evo are not looking to step back. This is the second game for them. That means they have to find a way to even the score, not let Chi to go to the match point. In the meantime, we have some tradings in the bot lane, but there's a fight here in the top too. Locking up Obsidian. He's going to try to hop over the wall. You're going to use the smite too to try to stay alive for as long as possible. His comrades are here. Here comes Nautilus, but in the meantime, that's a shutdown claimed onto it. Kill is now inside of the dragon pit. He's going to escape with the flash, realizing he made a mistake. They're trying to steal that herald, maybe, but the smite is going to claim it. Poppy had it. Now Savonix and Jeff, they are on the side of the pit, and the hook connecting onto kill. What is happening? Loco fighting the clutch hugs all the way through here.
We keep talking about how Loco can hit hooks as Bobo may be getting caught out, but just the speed from the Q keeps him to safety. The Rift Herald has gone down from the side of Gucci Gaming, trying to get this first tower as the Rift Herald's having a little walk around, trying to see where he wants to go. Finally deciding the tower's its place as it will get his hit off.
The turret is the way apparently for that Herald as he gave his life for a little bit of a push.
Yes, but if we're talking about that fight overall, we did see the Team Evo did have a good start to the fight. But then when you have Obsidian left in the pit, you should just leave him to die for the Rift Herald. But they just didn't, as we did see the Brum go over and waste his flash to get back to safety.
Now, with that being said, there's a still 2,000 gold lead for the side of Evo. They are feeling rather comfortable. Aphelios is slowly popping off with the CS advantage over his adversary, and which is much more important, with 2 kills and 2 assists. Yes, it's only half an item that he feels much more comfortable with, but yet it's so much as it's going to provide the way to slice through Poppy, slice through that Silas, and slice through that Gnar.
Now we do see that the lanes are changing a little bit as both bot lanes are heading to this mid lane, trying to be the main center of the maps. Then they could be in any fight that they are needed. As on top of this, we do see a Malphite versus a Silas in the bot lane. It is Silas favored by far because of the healing coming out from Silas. As in the top lane, we do have Jeff versus the mid laner of Yeon. It's probably most likely going to be Jeff favored because Jeff is a lot better in longer fights.
Now we're walking in a little bit of a stalemate between the two teams. There was a lot of big fighting on the map, but there's nothing to fight for now. 3 minutes until the Baron is going to spawn. Nobody possesses enough damage to do that early Baron, and there's 1 minute and 30 seconds before the Cloud Drake is going to spawn. We are having the Cloud Soul in this game. So with that being said, neither of the teams are looking to fight yet, and they're both looking to try to claim priority on the mid lane in order to open the map up.
Bobo does roam from the bot lane to try and get some vision into the red side of Gucci Gaming as there is Savonix engaging.
He's looking just for a little bit of a trace. The Everfrost is going to go rather wide here, but look at the damage. Savonix is actually not stopping. Is he going to claim the solo bullet flash? But the double unstoppable force getting Bobo into safety underneath the turret, but it's time to re-pull the trigger. There is no more engage on the side of Bobo, though, as Obsidian is just running to hug the walls a little bit, but that's going to be all that he will be doing in this fight.
Logog is in the top, so it's looking like Gucci Gaming does not want...
Lance onto Savage, claiming the solo bolo kill!
As we do see Logog in the top side, it's seeming like Gucci Gaming does...
Jeff with the Gnar ultimate, hold that thought, my friend. Gnar takes the kill, cross map play from Chi.
It's looking like these teams are just hunting for these kills. You can't be saying anything because there's just fight after fight after fight. And it's looking like one is going to go Gucci Gaming side as they will be claiming the top tower as Team Evo, killing the mid laner of Savonix, or my apologies, the ADC of Savage, meaning that they are going to get the second Drake for them, which is going to be the Cloud Drake.
Now, there we go. Second Drake is now full onto Evo, looking really strong in this game, but there's so much resources funneled into Aphelios. If I can ask the production to highlight the goal for us, but just in a bit of a second, because now we might have a fight. Bobo tries to use his fleet work yet again to get out of this fight. Poppy's on the chase, so is Savonix, but they're going to drop it for the time being. And now let's have a quick look over the goal, because I do strongly believe that we are looking at...
I believe you hold X to show the gold, if I am not incorrect, but one
Control X, I believe, yeah.
Is it Control X? Well, we'll have to see.
I think it is.
Well,
maybe not.
Maybe not. No, that's a black screen. I don't believe that's correct.
I mean, it's at least something, so...
Yes, you know what? It's improvement from before. Well, I don't think so, but you know, it is something for sure.
Oh, apparently the production says that gold is broken.
Oh,
so
small indie company?
No, you know what? We're just gonna stick to that. So Aphelios' gold is just broken. Therefore, Aphelios is broken. Therefore, this Sirius is broken. Therefore, Savonix now throws himself onto Bobo yet again with the Everfrost now connecting, tries to go for the kill, but there's a lot of damage on the side of Malphite too, and fighting all over the place. He's gonna claim the unstoppable force, maybe to try to bring him down, but doesn't find the initial kill. Savonix is now just spreading tyranny on the side lanes.
Savonix was not able to steal the unstoppable force because he may have ultimate up, but if you've stolen an enemy's ultimate recently, you do have a little bit longer of a cooldown to get that. That's the reason he wasn't able to find the kill. So Obsidian is a little bit out of place. But Jeff's ult was just not... His Mega Knight just ran out, so he wasn't able to find the kill there. As Savonix is just hunting.
Savonix is again going on to Bobo, but the Unstoppable Force is going to force him to take so much. Gets the kill with the Unstoppable Force. That was blink of an eye, and there you go.
It only just came off cooldown as Logog does use his Predator off cooldown. It's looking like Logog is hunted for anything in this game, as the reason he wasn't able to get a kill in the bot lane earlier was because he used it in the top side to get first tower for them.
Savonix just continues to crush any hope from the side of Evil. 401 now going towards his Zhonya's. We are getting close to the point where Silas will be able to conduct basically every single fight that we will see on the map.
Everybody except for the Malphite has reached their first item. And now we keep talking about how strong Savonix is for his team. And just look at this. He's already 4-0 yet again for 300 gold bounty with 2 items. The only good thing from the side of Team Evo is maybe your mid laner isn't ahead, but your bot laner is, as he does have 183 CS and 2.5 items. Even further ahead, I would say, than Savonix.
And thanks to our production right now, golden people they are, they have found us a way to take a look to the gold. So at the point of 2050, we had Aphelios with 8,000 gold lead, and he was the wealthiest man on the Summoner's Rift. Now, we do have actually some fighting as I was looking at the gold. Savonix now might be caught in here, but manages to dash away the Glacier Fisher. Here comes a little bit of reinforcements. They're locking down the Malphite. Here comes Jeff. The passive is going to proc, but the Unstoppable Force is going to deliver all over the wall. Now the rest of EVA are looking for more. So is Chi. And here we go. The Vertex is going to force Wukong out of the fight, and the Cyclone is going to go white. Now Logog in the fight with that Malphite. In the meantime, kill. And here comes Wukong back in this fight. Violence is going to claim that kill. Eon is here too. The drowsiness onto Poppy, so much damage, but finally the kill has been claimed into Malphite. Now Jeff with the triple man into the wall, finding the first shot down, the initial one, but the clone will be Obsidian, the one to be taken down. Now Kill tries to disengage from the fight. He's running for his life, and here comes the proc of Iron Solari, taking him alive for a little bit of longer time. No plant into the wall, but the drowsiness will be used. Now Eon looking to claim the kill, finds it with the smite. I might add, Eon is quite popping in the game too.
Jeff was able to find a 3-man ultimate yet again in this game. This top laner is on fire with finding these big team ultimates. But in this whole entire fight, it was a 4v5 until the end. Savage was in the top lane, completely farming on his own, quite happy as a Kog'Maw, trying to get his 2 or 3 items to really spike in these fights. But then the team fight was taking so long that he was able to join, change the rhythm of the fight, and allow Gucci Gaming to win it.
And now it puts both of the teams to an even gold. We haven't seen that in pretty much of a long time, but now it's finally there. And by the looks of it, Gucci, despite a little bit of a backfooting in the beginning of the game, now they're back at it.
All ultimates are up from both sides of the team. It's looking like there are double Malphite ultimates. We do see that it has been started.
Yeah, so is the Dragon Eye. Bobo is going to go over the wall. The Dragon is getting down! Lolgar going to try to get over the wall and try to get it with a smite, but doesn't find it. Cyclone going to get a little bit of man up, but Moonlight Vigil is just so big for that. Aphelios Savonix in the meantime going to claim the kill onto him, and by the looks of it, Eva are crumbling down. He has the drowsiness in there. Savonix going to claim the kill onto that Malphite, dancing on the blade of a knife. In the meantime, goes on to Braum, finds the kill with the flash over the wall. Eon is just gonna meet his death. Savage takes a double kill. Chi are just unforgiving with their team fight, with the clean ace as well. They're claiming the Baron.
They are claiming the Baron. It was looking so good from the side of Team Evil. They were doing so well this game. But remember, all of their damage is on their AD carry. So if you kill this Aphelios, you kill their full team fight. Now, Violence did find a good ultimate. But after this, we did see Jeff get a 3-man stun yet again. Allowing one of them to be on the AD carry on the side of Team Evo, meaning that the Aphelios was just going to die, meaning the Gucci Gaming was able to clean things up afterwards.
And with that, it puts them into almost of a 4k gold lead. Gucci are now fully in control of the game. 704 now is Savonix. 311 with a complete Ginsus and Kraken Slayer onto that Kog'Maw. Now he is pretty much as unstoppable as Violence is on the map. And by the looks of it, Chi are ready to start pulling the trigger.
Now, the good thing from Chi here is they still have 2 outer towers to get. This is just standing gold, waiting to get taken. The mid lane tower is very low. Same with this bot lane tower. So it's looking like they are trying to go for a 3-1-1 comp, having 1 in top lane, 3 in the mid lane, and 1 in the bot lane.
And now, slowly but surely, this main lane turret takes quite a lot of damage. In the meantime, Gnar is leading the army of buffed minions into that inner turret. Here we go. In the meantime, the bot lane turret has fallen down too. Chi are starting the oppressive on every single lane.
And this is the gold lead just going to keep building and building. Now the side of Gucci Gaming has stronger side lanes. Jeff is going to be beating Bobo in the top lane. Even with Savage, he's finally got to those 3 items. Like, look at this damage.
The hook onto Kill. Kill almost forced down. Yes, he is. Savage is not even moving. He is just throwing away like an artillery. The knockup will be found there, but it will be your ultimate device as Lol Pog is going to claim the kill. That was a Pog play, so will he get his Pog? Now Savonix looking to steal away the ultimate of Malphite, and Chi are looking to continue to siege Evo's base.
Now, they did decide to bring 5 people into the mid lane to get this second outer tower, as now you have Savage just dealing so much damage to this mid lane tower as a stun does come down.
Yeah, but it's quite a far, so we'll not find any targets just yet. Savonix is now here with the Unstoppable Force, maybe fishing for an angles. There is a ward there. Now Savonix looking for more. Eon is still wishing a little bit with his skill shots. The base turret has been cracked open, and now the inhibitor stays naked. But Gucci realized that they can do this right now. I believe there is not really a lot of the Baron buff left, so it's better to reset and look to deny the soul for Team Evo.
They were able to get themselves up to a 6k gold lead. They were able to get so much standing gold as they got around about 3 towers with their Baron power play. But they are still in the driver's seat here. The only chance Team Evo have is by getting the next dragon. Because this Cloud Soul can be so strong on so many of your carries. If you're able to get Bobo, this Cloud Soul, or even the Wukong, they are able to stick on their targets and maybe even kill Savage in these team fights.
But they have now to try to go through the all the lead that she has right now in their hands. You have to try and fish for a better angle either in the team fight or look for a steal. But can you really do it, or allow at least Valiants to throw the damage away unpunished? Can you do that in those team fights?
Well, it depends if they can even get into their own blue side jungle, as it's just 4 players on the side of Chi Gaming as they do grab this bot lane tower. Now, Gucci Gaming has got so much pressure in this bot side that they should really be able to get this dragon for free.
Bobo tries to get at least of a bounty from the mid lane turret. They might be able to do that. Chi, though, looking to respond, maybe even to collapse, but they decide not to do that for the time being. Savonix now making his way towards mid. He's going to get there together with Jeff to try to lock up the rest of Evo, but Evo do swiftly retreat. And now the dragon is about to spawn in just about 10 seconds, and by the looks of it, Chi are going to take it uncontested.
Now, the best thing that Evo can do is play to this top side, which they are doing right now. They are trying to look for the top lane tower and any farm that is in the blue side jungle of Gucci Gaming as they do secure the Cloud Dragon.
Yeah, it's going to be the second one for them. The even soul point is now 5 minutes away, but it doesn't really matter because the Baron is about to be up in just 1 minute and 30 seconds. Yes, the bounty is going to be claimed, but the difference in gold is now starts to be drastic. Yes, it's 30 minutes, but it's not 60k, it's not 70k. It's still the time when it matters. The inhibitor in the mid is about to fall, and Wukong only now will return to the base. Therefore, Chi again did something on the map and left unpunished.
Now, this is, I would say, not the best play coming out from Gucci Gaming. Baron is still not going to be spawning for another minute, meaning that there's going to be a full minute that they are going to have more farm to collect in this mid lane, allowing Violence to get stronger in this team fight. Violence really has to show up in this game to bring Evo a win. And remember, this isn't even the main AD carry from the side of Evo, so they're relying on somebody who they don't even know too well to be carrying their game.
And now we'll see if that strategy works for them, because Valiance is building himself up. He is a very strong AD carry now at this point. He's running 3 items. He has the durability. He has not the durability, but other piercing of that durability. He has the Infinity Edge. He's ready to get into those fights, but he has to be protected from people like Savonix, from people like Savage, even from people like Jeff and Poppy.
Now, Team Evo understands if they lose this Baron, they're most likely going to lose the game. So they're trying to get the mid lane prio so they can have first dibs to this river. As Baron is going to spawn, Jeff will get his rage meter up just in time. This is going to be the last team fight, most likely, of this game.
And now, in the meantime, Bobo is looking to deep-push a little bit here on the top side, and Chi are looking to pull the trigger because they know they have the numbers advantage. Here comes the first initial engage from Savonix. They're going to catch Braum here, but Braum is just going to flash over the wall. But the depth charge found the target, and the face plan is just way too important. This Gnar is on the killing spree, and now Evo are just collapsing. Good Chi decide that there's no need for the Baron. Who needs the Baron? If you can take the base, Malphite is going to be the next target. He's going to be tossed around like a little ragdoll. the very good knockup will be found, and he's gonna go away, but no, with the flash, with the unstoppable force, Savonix is gonna claim that kill, playing Scorpion for Mortal Kombat. Chi are looking to open and close the second game for themselves, getting to the match points in this best of 5 series as Nexus turrets are falling, and it's a 2-0 for Gucci Gaming.
What a game that second game was. Now, Brilman, I could see how much excitement is coming out from you there. Now, in that game, Evo was really bringing a strong fight in the early game. They were grabbing themselves a few dragons early. They're winning a few fights they were not expected to win in this early game. But when we got to the mid and late game, we saw Savonix on this side lane completely show up. When we get this man to late game, he is going to win you the game, as he was able to consistently kill this Malphite in the side lane. And talking about Jeff as well. Now, this has been 2 games in a row. He has consistently found these engages for his team, especially getting Loco on the tank support as well. It's looking like Gucci Gaming understands their strengths, are playing them to a T.
The comfort picks are working for them, and then at the same time, they're using exactly what you have been talking about. Silas to get through the mid lane like through butter, and then just take the Kog'Maw and let him wreak havoc, and this is exactly what have been happening on the map. But now, we're going to hand it over to our analysts to take away everything that have happened into this game, because we are in the match point. If Gucci Gaming get the next match, they are the champions of SLE Season 2. Evo have to bounce back. Will they? No idea.
Thank you so much, Setos, and thank you so much, Brilman. Sanix, welcome back. Another explosive one. So,
yeah, I mean, if I want to get straight to it, actually, it was very similar issues than they were game 1, right? Savonix and mid, not really getting much attention from Evo's side, and just was allowed to scale. And I mean, I know it's only game 2, but like this whole series, it's not Gucci versus Evo. It's just the Jeff and Savonix show. Honestly, both games, just, yeah.
Jeff, I think Jeff got PayPal by his entire team to carry here. Like this was some of those ultis he got. How he found violence, but he just put them all on his back.
You know, I saw in Twitch chat before when analysts that start and something, people were saying, "Oh, Sanix in a suit, name a more iconic duo," and stuff like that. I have a more iconic duo after these 2 games. It's Jeff and Walls. You know, game 1, Ornn getting knockups on Walls, and now game 2, Gnar getting those stuns off of Walls. I mean, I don't know, but this guy has a thing for Walls.
Jeff is coming at you. You know you're getting put to the wall. So
yeah, I mean, I think I have a plan for Evo here. Stay in river, center of river. You know where Scuttle has the circle? Stay in the Scuttle circle. There's no walls there. You know, there's no way Jeff can find a wall to mess with you.
yeah, definitely. Jeff pulling in clutch with some of those insane ultimates. For Evo, do you feel that at this point it's like, okay, we've tried conventional drafts, or pretty conventional drafts, pretty standard comps, drama Philios, protect the ADC kind of thing. It's not working, right? It didn't work twice. Should they throw it all out of the window and just go, we pick what we are good at as a champion, you know? And we try to make it one cohesive team, and we go hard, because I feel that if G goes even or slightly ahead, Evo loses late.
Yeah.
We have seen it twice now.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue with Evo this series so far has actually been the fact that, obviously, I think I forgot his name. I think I'll just call him Vil. I know those are his first 3 letters.
Yeah.
The ADC that's subbing in for Evo right now. I think he's actually had 2 very strong games, especially this game 2 on Aphelios. He had a very, very strong performance. I do think Evo's weaknesses so far in the series have mostly been Yeon with that Ignite on mid. I think it's really been hampering the team as a whole. Obviously, you're playing Zoe. He played Ari before. you kind of need that ignite, but also, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage as a team. And I think Obsidian has been having a few weak games. I mean, both these games, Obsidian didn't have that much impact on the map. Obviously, Bobo having to play Malphite this time around into an R. It is kind of a no lane. Obviously, Malphite is just a tank you pick into AD matchups top, where you kind of just chill out on lane and wait for late game. Obviously, Gucci did well to respond with the Silas. Very strong ult to take. As Zato said in draft prep before, that obviously Silas had a lot of good ults that game. You had the Malphite, had the Braum, even the Aphelios one if you wanted the root, the Wukong ult. Almost every ult in Evil's team was very strong for the Silas. So yeah, obviously Gucci did good to pick up the Silas there and utilize those ults, and obviously Silas matching Malphite in the later stages on the lane. I think Sylvanas got a solo kill or at least pressured it onto the Malphite. So yeah, I think that weakness of Obsidian and Yeon in these two games so far has really been hampering the team as a whole. So I would like to see a bit more team oriented, at least
They
even if
haven't
it's
gotten
just
the
a
tools
TP
for
on
it
mid.
either, right? They haven't had the
Yeah.
tools like champion wise. Ari is okay in a 2v2, but Lilia early game doesn't set up games that great. Like she has to have it from her teammates with the CC. And this game, where it's Wukong who also needs initial CC to kind of thrive in this early 2v2, will Gucci drafting Hecarim and Azir, not that much CC and setup for the early 2v2, but the Hecarim of course does add it, especially post 6 with Azir, and then
Yeah, but on the other side, they had the Ari. But anyways, like in game 2 here, right, with the Wukong, you have the Conquer, you have Wukong's passive, the stone thingy, whatever it's called. I
yeah,
don't know the name, where it gives you health regen and armor stacking. Basically, the more you fight, the reason why Wukong is as strong in the meta as he is right now is because the fact that not a lot of junglers can actually match him in these skirmishes in the jungle. So even if you don't have a setup, if you do go for these 2v2, 3v3 fights, right, around Herald, around Dragon, his sustain and with Conquer, the damage he stacks up is such a much higher output than most of other junglers in the game at the moment. Especially his Q having armor shred on it as well is really crucial to the champion. So I just don't think it's been playing out as the champion should be played out.
yeah, for sure. Maybe put he on something that's able to shove the wave fast, and then walk into Wonderland together with your mid laner and jungler duo Obsidian and Eon. Maybe should start living in Lolcock's jungle, or trying to utilize this strength of the Wukong, for example. But it definitely needs to happen more in mid lane. It feels like
Oh,
there's not enough happening.
is that your cat on the camera?
That was my
I
cat
think I
passing.
just saw it.
Yeah,
I'll go back.
I'm getting Rengar
But
ganked IRL.
but yeah, no, or maybe Yumi's trying to pounce. But no,
Sure.
anyway, correct me if we're wrong, but I don't think Yasuo was banned
I don't
in
think
either of the
Yasuo was
games.
banned in any of the games, and we know that Eon definitely has a good Yasuo to play, and maybe we will see it, and especially with what I said, where I think that Evo needs to throw it all out of the drought and just go hard early game, right? And Yasuo definitely is able, especially when combined with the jungler that has some setup for its ultimate, like a Diana. And is Diana a bit more of an early scaler? But there's definitely options for that. And we're gonna be curious what side Evo is gonna take.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right. I think the smart thing would be to take red side as Evo, obviously giving your solo laners those counter picks, making the lanes a bit more playable. Obviously Jeff picked up the what's it called?
Nar?
The Gnar pretty early in rotation, and yeah, as we see here, Evo will be taking the red side. And yeah, honestly, we saw already a big gap between game 1 and game 2 in the way Evo approached the draft, right? I think Chi was pretty straightforward both games. But Evo already taking a big step in a different direction for game 2, and this didn't work either. So I think for game 3 we might be seeing a lot more comfort-based picks. So I think we might be seeing that Diana. We might even see the Nidalee jungle. Obsidian is a player that has played a lot of Nidalee and SLE so far this season, so we might be seeing that. We might be seeing something that pairs with the Yasuo. Gragas top is still open. Obviously, Bobo is a player that plays a lot of Gragas, plays Karma. If that's going to be open, it's something that Evo could potentially look forward towards. And
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with that, I'm about to hand it off. The original ADC of Evo has been able to make it to maybe the final game, maybe 2 more, maybe 3 more. We will see. But with that, I will hand it off back to our beautiful casters, and we will be back here afterwards for sure.
100%.
Thank you very much, Ringo. Here we are in the Game 3 match point for GCG Gaming SLE Final Season 2 against Team Evolution. And let's see what the drafts are cooking for us. If you know The Rock Dane Johnson, then you do know what is this reference. You might be familiar with the man. He's playing the Black Adam now. Wink, wink.
I was about to say, I feel like I'm a bit too young for this. I do apologize. I do not have a clue. But do you know what I do have a clue of? That
Yes.
GCG Gaming is on fire, winning their first 2 games, meaning this could be the final game of SLE.
Might be not. Maybe the reverse sweep is real, but we are about to jump into the drafts just as soon as possible. And here we go. So the bans have went the way how we have predicted them previous game. But by the looks of it, it didn't really help Team Evo. They found a better ground in this game, but it didn't feel like they were able to do anything with it. Now, what's their strategy, or what should be their strategy in this game?
Now, the problem is with changing strategies, you are still banning the most strong picks in the SLE against GCG Gaming, which is the Trundle, which is the Volleybet, and which is the Azir. But remember, you were changing strategies. How about we change players? As the AD carry Ori has finally come back from the side of Team Evo. He wasn't able to make the first 2 games, but he is here from here on out. He's able to change the atmosphere, hopefully, for them. And give them a little bit of change. Give them, you know, maybe the Vayne pick, which has been banned here. But there are other hyper carries he's able to play. So, if I was the side of Team Evo, I would decide to be playing maybe more of a team fight comp and go for a little bit more scaling and, you know, be a little bit more laid back, because GCG Gaming has been going for all these heavy team fight comps.
And here comes the standard combination that we see in all of the games that do matter. Leona, Nautilus for both of the supports of the respective teams, paired up with Lilia for the jungler of Team Evo.
So it's looking like Evo has been listening to what I've been saying. Leona, good engage, able to, you know, really play against this Nautilus. Now, a quick thing about this matchup of Leona Nautilus is if Leona goes in, Nautilus is able to hook her. But if he tries to go for the auto attack, Leona is able to Q just before that, meaning she's going to win the trade. We're going to have to see if Nautilus does understand this. But we did see the GCG Gaming's bot lane has been a very strong point for them. So it's looking like they are still going for another aggressive lane with the MF and the Nautilus.
Misfortune now coming in. Bullet time might be such of a game changer for those team fights. We've seen GCG to excel at it, and it is one of those ultimates that you just want to have whenever you're fighting, either for objective or just in an important 5-on-5 as German IV comes into the fray.
Remember, what does MF need to be strong? Is a CC lockup, some way that they cannot dodge her ultimate, and a Cataclysm is a way to do it. They have such heavy engage style on the side of GCG Gaming. This is their bread and butter, but it is looking like Team Evo is picking the AD carry now. Do they want to go for something that can get out of this, like the Kai'Sa, to jump away? Ezreal, same thing, can jump out, and it is looking like they are going for a little bit more of a safer bot lane just so they can survive this initial engage.
Ezreal and Leona, not exactly the most orthodox of the combos. We usually see something like Karma paired up with Ezreal in the current meta, but can work and get something like Nautilus, as Karma would have probably struggled just a little bit. But here comes more and more bans. Now, both of the teams don't have their mid lane and top lane, so now it's up to Evo to try and conduct the pace of the draft.
Now, it's looking like Gucci Gaming and Evil are going for around about the same bans as before. Gucci Gaming banning away this LeBlanc, believing that Yeon on this champion is just impossible to deal with, while Team Evo does not like the Oriana or the Ari from the side of Savonix. We've seen how strong he can be in these games.
Now it's the question of what Evo wants to turn this into. They have to blind pick either the mid lane or the top lane. But which one do you open up? Because you do allow GCG to answer one of this, and then they have to blind pick too.
Now, what I want to talk about here is the kind of styles both of these comps are going for. Team Evo is seeming to go for a disengaged type of comp. You're saying that Leona and Ezreal aren't that strong in the bot lane, which is very true, but they can be strong in a team fight together. Leona is a good tank in the front lane, allowing Gwen to be with her as well. You know, if they try and engage into the Leona's W gives her so much tankiness, and if she builds a Zhonya's as well, she is not going to die. But they are trying to counter this by getting the Camille, because even with every CC, you can't think of Camille is able to get into the backline, but Dinar is getting hovered instead, will get locked in. But Jeff, we do know can get into the backline anyway.
Yes, but I'm actually so surprised to see them to pivot into that Gnar, because Camille seemed to be like an obvious choice. But the problem is you're standing against Gwen. Yes, of course, Gwen can be flexed into jungle, but jungle right now is not exactly the most strongest lanes that she has. But regardless of that, he will have a little bit of a better time standing against Gwen, as he will be able to get some of the favorable trades thanks to the range. Although Nico now joins the fray. Look at that!
Now, Brill, I think this is a game for you. You've come back to the SLE, and Gucci Gaming knows it. They're trying to make teamfights as interesting as possible for you. Now, I do like the Nico pick because of the ultimate able to combo on top of everything that Gucci Gaming has already. However, if they are in the Cataclysm, Nico needs to be very, very close for her to use that ultimate. Allowing the Lilia and Ezreal, if they are able to escape, to do their thing. Now, they do pick a Yasuo, which is quite an interesting pick. It can do well against the Nico, having the wind wall to stop her CC, allowing him to jump in and do his thing around the place. But if he's inside the Cataclysm and doesn't have a way out, all he has is his wind wall.
The problem is, when you're going into the Cataclysm, you have to either be sure that you will be able to kill Jarvan IV, or if Jarvan IV actually oversteps, then potentially you can hop over the Cataclysm wall thanks to the dash that Yasuo has through his enemies. So potentially Yasuo is not going to have that much of a hard time. And just looking at the overall carry potential from Evo, they have ways of playing around the Cataclysm, but there's still so many things you have to keep in mind. Again, GCG opt for so many important influential ultimates coming into those teamfights. The Death Chart, the Cataclysm, the Bullet Time, the Gnar ultimate, the Nico ultimate. There's so many things now that they have to consider.
Now, this is a lot better for team comp from the side of Evo. They have got so many disengaged tools to stop this wombo combo from happening. For example, the wind tool. For example, Gwen can just go immune for 6 seconds because that's a champion in the game. Same with Ezreal, he can jump out. Lilia and Leona are the only 2 champions where they are in the Cataclysm. There is no way they are able to escape or really defend themselves. So it's really on Gucci Gaming if they're able to find and engage. But we do keep talking about this wind wall, how it can stop the bullet time. But do you know what it cannot stop? A depth charge, a Nautilus.
True that.
If he wants to get on top of someone, this Nautilus, he will. It doesn't matter if Ezreal dashes out, it's still going to knock him up. The only person it won't knock up is this Gwen. So, well, Gucci Gaming has any engage if they really want to.
Yes, there's so many tools on their side. Yet, again, although looking at Evo, now may be the time for them to try to bounce back. They do have to find a way to go for the reverse sweep because GCG are on the match points. But actually following up on your point about Lilia and Leona, I really want to talk about defending yourself, because I feel like Leona is not actually a champion that needs to fish for a way to defend herself, as Leona, how to put it, has a shield. So in a certain way, right, I know that's a little bit of a bad pun over here, but Leona is going to be very tanky, so she's not probably going to be exactly the person to try to lock her up, because Solar Flare can be used from range, while Lilia, yes, might be the target, but on the other hand, Lilia is probably not going to be the front laner.
Now, there's one thing you have reminded me of, is the Leona ultimate can disrupt Misfortune. So remember, with this wombo combo, their damage comes from the Nico, their damage comes from the Misfortune. If the Wind Wall does not block it, or the people don't get out the Cataclysm, guess what? Leona ultimate on top of the MF, guess what? She cannot move, she'll get stunned up, the ultimate will get stopped. There's a lot of options that Evo has to stop this here. So it's really all about if Gucci Gaming can get an engage or if Evo can disengage here. Now, if we're looking at the actual laning phase though, with Nautilus and MF into a Leona Ezreal, we do expect the MF and Nautilus to be stronger in the laning phase. However, there is a J4. If they're able to get onto the Leona or Ezreal into this bot lane and get their team even further ahead, Gucci Gaming can absolutely wreak havoc from this bot side.
The thing is that when you look at both of these teams, not only they possess the necessary tools to try to go for this fight, but they also do happen to possess all those necessary tools to try to get out of the fight or find a way how to answer it, right? Because you have mentioned that Solar Flare can stop the ultimate from Misfortune, the bullet time, right? And it pretty much goes all across the board. Because if you look at Nico can be stopped with the Solar Flare or with the Drowsiness. In the same time, she can get away thanks to the clones that she is able to throw away. Gwen, yes, you can lock her up, but she's going to be immune to everyone except the Jarvan IV in that fight. Gnar can try to look for a knockup or rather knock into the wall, but there are champions who can dash away. So I feel like we're looking at the skill check in a certain way. We're looking at how champions and how those players are going to be able to play around the kits or of their opponents.
I do agree with you there. I believe that this is less of a team-oriented fight. I believe that it's just going to be small macro decisions that these players are going to do. If one player is able to, get this amazing start to the wombo combo, Team Evo is going to get absolutely decimated. But on the side of Team Evo, for example, if Edge was able to jump out from the full combo of Gucci Gaming, they are just going to wreak havoc on that side and win that team fight. But there's one thing else that I want to talk about is the side lanes. Now, we kept talking about how Gucci Gaming did have stronger side lanes in the last 2 games we watched. But in this game, I disagree with that because Yasuo is Yeon's one of his favorite champions. His LeBlanc may be bad, but you can't ban his Yeon and his Yasuo, which he is very notorious on. So I'm expecting a lot more to be coming out from the side laners of Team Evo.
This is probably going to be true this time around because Nico, not exactly the champion to have the most amount of success in silence. Yes, she will be able to get out of there relatively quickly, but we can see that she's not going to be that kind of a fighter that just goes and decimates a Malphite on the place, right? Or someone like a Camille or someone like a Gwen. Gwen also another champion that will feel really comfortable on those side lanes. Remember the beginning of the spring split. We had that Gwen constantly on the side lanes matching Camille's and Graves with those hull breakers before actually hull breakers got nerfed, right? So it is pretty much fair to say that Evo has the ability, have the possession of that ability to try and work around the side lanes and try to go around the macro and set up the objectives much better and much efficiently than in the previous 2 games.
Now, I completely agree with you there, but remember, Gwen can snip her way through this front line. Gnar, J4, and Nautilus have a lot of health, and Gwen deals true damage based on their HP. So, if she is in that Cataclysm as well, she is going to snip her way through them and just deal so much damage with the ultimate as well. So, this Gwen in the late game is going to be an absolute monster to deal with.
Absolutely. If you look at the composition of Team Evo, you don't really want to drag the game for way too long. Gwen is going to be decimating you. Yasuo is going to be one-shotting people there too. And Ezreal, he's not going to get weaker. Maybe he's not a scaler like a Ryze. But despite that, he's not going to get weaker after mid lane. He's going to deal a lot of damage with True Shot Barrage. He's going to deal a lot of damage with some other items that he will be able to pick up along the way. So with that being said, if you're Gucci Gaming, you don't really want to let that game go upon the 30-minute mark.
Well, we're going to have to see if Evo is going to rise to the occasion. Remember, this is 1 loss away from losing the grand finals of the SLE, and this is something you do not want to lose. All of these players have worked so hard to be here. They have finally got themselves to the grand finals, being 2-0 down. Can Evo bring it back?
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Summoner's Rift, maybe for the last time of today, but maybe the reverse sweep and the hopes of Team Evo of standing in this game and in this series are real. Let's bring the hype up, because here we go.
Well, I have to keep the hype up if you are yourself. Remember, Evo won against Gucci Gaming last time. It was a 2-1 win from the side of Team Evo. But Gucci Gaming are winning 2-0 right now, so this is not what we were expecting. Remember, but Team Evo has a different ADC now. They have their main AD carry. So now they're back to their form of what they were before. They're able to get this sweep back. But it's looking like it is going to be a little bit more of a quiet start, as there is just going to be a 5-point coming out from both teams.
Probably nobody's going to pull the trigger for way too early. Remember, if you step wrong, if you put your foot wrong, that might be the end of you. But for GCG, they have to feel that commitment into the last game, because now all it takes is just one little last push. As the Joker said, all it takes is just one bad day, and maybe it's going to be the one for Evo.
Well, we'll have to see, as both Gucci Gaming side and Evo are starting on their top sides, looking like they are trying to pressure around this bot lane. Remember, both sides of Evo and Gucci have hard, aggressive support, meaning that if they do want to lock someone up and try and get a kill, it is definitely going to be able to happen.
We'll have to see how the teams will decide to roll this around this time. Both Gwen and Gnar are probably not going to be that beneficial when it comes to those skirmishes at the bot side of the map. Prio, minute 14, right?
Yes.
That being said, a lot of influence has to go from those junglers towards the bot side.
Yes, and now the reason that they have to go to the spot side is if you're able to get this Misfortune ahead, she's just going to be able to wreak havoc in these team fights. But Gucci Gaming needs to get to around about level 6 before their team comes online. As we do see Gucci Gaming having hard pressure in both mid lane and bot lane, mainly because of mid lane having a range versus a melee, as there is some damage.
Sovnix might be in a little bit of trouble. The knockup is going to be there. Obsidian now coming into with the double flash of the wall. Eon is trying to get the kill through with the ignite taking, but the exhaust from Sovnix will help him. Obsidian now actually might be overstepping here a little bit as Logog is looking to secure the kill. Here comes Loco too. They're trying to lock the deer up. She's only level 2. Knockup is not going to be found, but the slow will be Sovnix now stepping up and claiming the first blood. GCG are on the right foot in this game.
This is the power of having priority in your lanes. Because of the priority in the bot lane, Chi Savage, wait a second. Okay, that's not him.
No.
But Gucci Gaming, because they had prior on this bot lane, able to push it in, Loco was able to bring himself to this mid lane and secure a kill to the side of his mid laner.
Now, let's see how they're going to work with the prio now. It looked for a second that Logog is going to pivot himself towards the bot side, but decides to lock up the vision on the map before that, so that he knows where Obsidian will be on the map. He is much more ahead now when it comes to not only jungle camps, but also this assist that's going to allow him to buy himself additional items, while Obsidian had to go back only with the boot.
Now, one weird summoner I do want to talk about is the exhaust in the mid lane coming out from Sovnix. He understands how strong Yeon is onto this carry. We haven't seen Yeon be on one of his main picks so far. This is why it's really good to see him on one of his more comfortable picks. This is the reason you see him flash forward a lot more. Like, look at this again. He's going in, he's going for these big trades because he just understands Yasuo to a T.
But with that being said, there's also cleanse on the side of Savage, and there is the same exhaust you've been talking about, but hold that thought, I say to myself, because Keel was hooked up by Loco. Here comes Obsidian and Logag both, so nobody will be able to claim any kills or start any fights. So coming back to the initial point, no, actually hold that thought yet again, because we might see a little bit of a team fight on the side of the teams. Unfortunately, we are running into some tech issues, so I'm not
just imagine
able...
what's happening. Just imagine.
Things are happening. People are dying, maybe not. In the meantime, Eon takes a little bit of a trade here with Sovnix, but he has the red buff, so he's able to take those trades. But here comes the jungler. The root are going to go through. Yeon is looking for more, trying to go for a knock-up too. Will they find it? No, they won't. Yeon takes so much damage, and Obsidian will not be able to reach with his staff to claim the kill.
This mid lane is going toe to toe with each other. Yeon is playing on a knife edge, trying to get this Yasuo to work. He's going to go 10 or 0 or 0-10 in this game. I can just feel it, as he only has about a 4 CS deficit to his mid laner.
And now they're all looking to pivot maybe somewhere. Not sure by this point. I thought for a second that there's some kind of a top play happening, but there's no Herald out there yet. So you can't really do there anything.
Herald isn't going to be spawning for around about 5 minutes, meaning there's only going to be the dragon to play for. But Lilia does need the level 6, same with the J4 if they want to start getting their team comps online. So you shouldn't expect too much to be happening in this early game, as only one kill has gone over to the side of Gucci, giving them around about a 8k gold lead. Sorry, not 8k.
Not 8k. 600. 600 about. 6, 7, yeah, now it's 800.
Possible? Is that even possible to get 800 or like 8k in like 6 minutes?
I mean, if you're just basically going and killing yourself, then yeah, probably. Ooh, in the meantime, Jeff, no? I thought he was going for Boba, but apparently not. As also, I would like to point out that Cloud Drake is up and running, waiting to be slain already. No one is there, though, to try and claim it. Not yet, at least.
Logog is behind.
Yes, he is finding the knock-up onto Obsidian. Obsidian trying to run down, but he's not going to be able to do so. Jarvan will claim that kill. That's the second one for GCG.
And because he was able to claim that kill, he's also going to steal away the red buff from the side of Obsidian. We were saying about how Obsidian needed to, you know, farm up to get to his items to be useful in this fight. And being 0-2 is not the way to do it. So we're expecting maybe a little bit of farm, trying to be a bit safe, as Jeff is ticking over the rage bar soon.
He doesn't really have his ultimate, so he won't be able to lock Gwen down and try to go for it. Yes, the immunity has been given away, but you can't really go for a potential kill if you don't have the face plant into the wall, because face plants are important. Respect the face plants.
Now, the game should be getting exciting very soon, as everybody's almost getting to that level 6 mark. We see 7, 5, 6, 5, and 4. So everybody's getting so close to this, as Evo does have a little bit push in this bot lane. So they may try and go for the Dragon after this.
I feel like the tension is rising so much on the map right now. Everybody are on the edge of their seats. Both of them have their stacks way too high into this game. True Sharp Barrage is going to be used to force the bot lane of Chi just a bit more, and I think the Cloud Drake is very soon to start.
Now, the reason that he wanted to use his ultimate there is the more poke you get on the side of Savage and Loco, it means that if you are going to take a fight later on before they reset, they won't have enough health to be taking this fight, meaning you're just going to easily win it.
Both of the junglers will meet in the river, though, thanks to the priority the bot lane of you are walking up. The ulting Lullaby is an option and is going to be used, but Jarvan, thanks to his mobility with the dashes and jumps and all the else, will be able to get around. Nidoqueen is going to be propped here by Bobo onto Jeff, but Jeff is quite tanky and also turning into a Mega Gnar, so not going to be happening just yet.
The Flag and Drag did keep him to safety here, but the side of Evo needs to try and get this Gwen and this Yasuo ahead. If they're able to get their side lanes ahead in this game, they won't really ever have to team fight, and this is the priority for them. If they try and team fight into the side of Gucci Gaming, they know they are going to lose this, so I hopefully will look for Lilia to be playing around that.
GCG are playing it nice and slow. They've taken the first dragon, they've taken the first kills, they're leading about 1.4k. They are feeling confident coming into the matchup that we have. Obsidian, though, opting to the top lane, just as we were talking about. Yes, he is. Doesn't have his lilting Lullaby, by the way, so that is an important part to keep in mind. Tries to hop over as much as he can. He's going to be slowed. Takes a lot of damage into Obsidian, too, with the flash forward. Finds maybe even a double. Just one more rock throw, but Obsidian is just so low. I feel like it's probably 20 HP.
Now that is the power of a durability patch. Jeff and Walls are just in the same name at this point. It's probably his middle name, as he does get a 2-man stun, almost taking down the top and jungler from the side of Team Evo. But this is good from the side of Gucci Gaming. Because of Jeff soaking up so much pressure, they were at first able to get their first dragon, which will be the Cloud Drake.
And now they have so much opportunities on the board again. Obsidian had to waste a flash to get out, so he won't be able to have that much of an impactful team fight. Teleport is still up for Jeff. He didn't reset. He can choose whatever he actually wants. He only wasted a flash and his Gnar ultimate. That will come off cooldown very, very soon. So GCG, they haven't actually lost anything.
Now, on top of this, J4 did pick up the Rift Herald and is looking for this top side. Jeff has got his laner so low that if he's able to stay, they will be getting the kill base. Looking like Logog is just keeping him safe.
Bobo decides to step down because he knows that he will not be able to do anything the needlework is going to be used to. Even tries the Cataclysm, and the dodge on that stone gets the kill. Bobo finally found the clutch moment for himself.
That is what Bobo needed.
In the meantime, Kill is now looking to go into Loco. The bullet time is going to be used. There's no prom wall this time around to try and prevent that bullet time for hitting. Ori is going to be knocked up in the air, and Kill had to flash away too. That's a very nervous trade between the two of them. But here comes Obsidian. Actually, look at where he is. If the bot lane of Evo decides to stay, they might be looking for a kill because Lilting Lullaby is now off the cooldown.
Obsidian is hunting, trying to get behind him. It's looking like he's able to.
Yes, finds the Savage, now goes on to him, and Loco is going to be go drowsy too, but he gets away onto the Anchor. The Cleanse is going to be used 2 kills now underneath the tower. Takes so much slaps! That's the trade of kills. Ori claimed 1, but Savage claimed 1 for himself too. In the meantime, mid lane is having some fights too. That's the knockup with the flash. Somonix is burning, but Eon is burning much more thanks to the red buff. The kill is there. Cross-map play from Chi.
Now, it's all going Gucci Gaming side. From the side of Evo, after the sleep, you're meant to allow the Leona to engage afterwards to keep the CC chain. But because Savage or Obsidian dealt a little bit of damage before this happened, Loco was able to flash back into tower, meaning that they were able to kill the Leona there, making a 1v1 in the bot side. And because they put the jungle of Obsidian to the bot side, it allowed Logok to go for a fight in the mid lane, meaning it's just an overall 2-for-1 win to the side of Gucci Gaming.
And with that, they secure themselves almost a 2,000 gold lead. Chi are firmly in the driver's seat. They are not looking to give that seat away, at least not yet. Evo really need to find a way how to answer whatever is happening on the map.
Remember, Gucci Gaming is only 1 win away from winning all of SLE. So Evo really needs to try and pull something out the bag if they want to try and get the reverse sweep.
Now, might be looking for something in the mid lane. Bot lane is now left unattended. Savage is just slowly farming himself up. I don't actually see... Oh, Ori was in the bushes with him, so they're losing a little bit of experience and a little bit of the prior on the lane. But it doesn't really matter by the looks of it. Obsidian was looking for a way to go onto Jeff, but Jeff is playing it amazingly in this series, controlling every single champion that he plays today miraculously. In the meantime, now Eon actually might have overstepped here. The Electrocute proc is going to go. Last Whisper is going to be used too. But here comes the Root. Not going to connect, but the Cataclysm will. And that hop over the wall that I've been talking about is not there for the Yasuo. Rift Herald is going to be popped too. And here comes the turret blades. Actually, no, they're about to fall off now.
It just was slightly too long for them to get that state.
Drowsiness. They're now looking to go onto that Nico. He's going to be burning. The teleport is going to go from Jeff. And now Boba might be the one in trouble. He has to dash away. Finds the way to do it. In the meantime, Ori claimed the kill onto Nautilus. What is happening in the bot lane? Savage looking for more, but he's not able to find it. Bullet time is now off the cooldown. Rather on the cooldown than being off of it. So that means he can go into this fight. And the Ocean Drake will be initiated by Evo 14 minutes into this game.
Because of the kill on the side of Gucci Gaming, getting their support killed there, meaning that Team Evo was just able to pick up this Drake hit. It was going to be a 4 versus 3 if they tried to take that fight. Remember, Gucci Gaming don't mind taking team fights later on, but when you've used all your ultimates in the mid lane just to kill Yeon, you won't really be able to win a fight after this. So well played from them to not take the fight. as I don't really know what happened in the bot lane. I'm guessing they went for hard engage and they were just able to escape it.
I feel like it. And also what I feel like it is that irony is something that can describe this game. Infernal Soul is going to be the one for this match. Maybe the most important one for Evo.
Now, from the side of Evo, if they're able to get this, it means that their poke is going to be a lot more oppressive. It means that Ezreal is going to be so much stronger in this fight. If he's bringing out these Qs, he's able to, you know, poke out Loco, Logog, and Jeff. It's mean that they aren't able to find an engage. Or if they do, they're just going to die instantly.
And with so much possibility on the map with that Infernal Soul, there's so much damage now opening up. And looking at the team compositions, everyone has this little bit of extra tankiness, right? You've got the Nautilus Leona, you've got the top laners who are quite tanky, you've got Nico, who might pick up some HP while going into this game, and then of course Lilia, who might also go for a little bit of a more tanky items, but at the very least you will have the Gwen, who will heal herself up like a mad doll, apparently. I feel like this Infernal is one of the most important and crucial parts of the upcoming fights.
Now, one thing is, with this Yasuo, it has no one to help him knock up. It's all up to Yeon himself if he wants to do something with this. But if we quickly take a look at where the gold is on both of these teams, it is mostly in the top jungle from the side of Gucci Gaming, while it's all onto the AD carry of Evo, the same as last game. So we're going to have to see if this Ezreal is able to get enough poke damage before these fights start.
The gold is spread relatively nicely between the teams. You can see that there's only 500 gold difference between all of them. In the meantime, I'll have to hold that thought. Savonix is going to be actually pressed down, but the clone was the one to take the aggro. Apparently these tricks do work still.
Wait, have you ever played against a Wukong? You just stand still and then you think that he's escaped?
Yeah, that actually reminds me of the Faker outplay when he was playing against Caps on the Akali when he flashed into the bush. Something that we thought is just way too much of an old trick in the book, and then it just works, and everyone loses their minds over it, because how did that work?
Now, there's some things we never understand, but always humans have a few times where we aren't the smartest. But do you know what was smart? It was smart of Evo to get this bot lane tower as Obsidian flashes away from the engage in the mid lane.
And the first stone, as I like to call it, because it's not the first blood, it's the first stone to fall down on the rift, is very crucial for Evo. They're falling behind 2,000, and now they're slowly but surely able to start to pick up the pace. Riftmaker is now complete for Bobo, means he's much more efficient in those trades. And now you can see that everyone is now slowly but surely are getting to the point where they will be able to pick up the fights with Gucci Gaming. So I feel like Evo might be coming online slowly but surely.
But one thing I do want to talk about is these Ezreal items. He is the first person to get his 2 items. He does need to try and get his mana moon to stack up. He's around about 50 mana off doing that. That should take him around about a couple minutes to get that. Then he's going to be an absolute behemoth in these fights.
And a very important part of these fights, as we have talked about in the draft, Yasuo in the meantime not doing exactly the best way all around. 0-2-0 goes Yeon. Not even completing his first item yet, but you know, it's the power spike. He's gonna get there eventually, because looking at his adversary in the middle lane, Savonix, he is feeling really, really comfortable with an Everfrost and a 2-0 in his pocket.
They are really feeling themselves on the side of Gucci Gaming. After winning 2 games, you cannot blame them at all. But Dragon is going to be spawning in the next minute. They're trying to get some priority and some pressure over this. Evo has pressure over the river, while Gucci Gaming Jeff has come back down to try and help them re-secure this. But before they get into this river, you do have Obsidian and Ori, who can poke you out before this teamfight even starts.
Gwen now making her way here slowly too. It is a 4 against 5 for the time being, because Savonix is now getting back from the base, doesn't run the teleport this time around, so that means he won't be able to join the fights way too efficiently. Evo now though pressing in the mid lane, maybe looking for some kind of a poke, maybe looking for some kind of an engage. Savonix might be finding a flash maneuver here, doesn't connect with the root, and the clone is going to take a little bit of a beating. Infernal Drake is now on the map. Shurshal Barrage is going to be used to try to poke someone down. The Herald is going to be dropped to create the needed priority. Bobo is going to to dodge away the anchor, but he's going to take some additional damage. Death Charge is going to find him, but he's going to knock him only up. Ori now has to step away. Bobo going to be locked down with behind those walls, finding the Gnar ultimate onto one. Solar Flare going to find two, and the triple drowsiness too. Leon was looking for more and more, but GCG Gaming are just way too in control, taking 3 and the second dragon for themselves.
GCG Gaming has 4 different members who can engage this fight. Jeff with the ultimate, same with Logog, and even Savonix and Loco himself. Meaning that if one doesn't work out, the next one will. Because we did see that Bobo did dodge out the hook from Loco using the Unstoppable, meaning that she won't be able to get knocked up. But after she uses that, she's a free kill. That's why you saw the side of Savonix to jump in, get the ultimate off to stun him down. I mean, the Bobo was out of that fight in an instant. I mean, it was going to be a 4v5. Now remember, you thought all of the engage tools are done. Nope, Jeff is in the backline finding another 2-man stun. Coming up big in another fight.
Jeff has been an outstanding and one of the most important assets of GCG Gaming in that series, finding so many fantastic angles and knockups with all the champions that he has been playing, which are actually to Gnar and Ornn.
What champions to be playing, but both do have engage and knockups, and he's understanding that to a T as he loves these walls. But overall, if we quickly take a look at the map state, it's around about a 3k gold lead from the side of GCG Gaming. They did secure the last dragon in the last team fight when they are going to be in the lead. The only thing Evo has going for them is their side laners are still strong. Savonix is going to be a little bit of a menace in the side lane, but this Gwen, if it gets one-on-one with either of them, I do expect her to still win them.
This Ezreal is actually amongst one of the most wealthiest people on the Summoner Strip, going toe-to-toe with the gold of Savage.
I thought you meant it like the whole entire world. Like, a guy named Ezreal is like the richest man on earth.
I mean, his name also starts with E, so you're not that wrong.
Who starts with E?
Elon?
Oh, okay. You know what? Fair. I'll agree with you there.
It's a fair point to make. I mean, he is a real prototype of Tony Stark, so, you know, it kind of lines up.
He is a little bit rich, but Baron has been spawned, meaning that there is going to be a lot of fights over this. GCG Gaming is getting a little bit of pressure over there as Savage is pushing out the mid lane, so he can walk in with them as well. But you should see that GCG Gaming is going to try and strangle out the side of Team Evo, gaining so much vision around the Baron where they don't know if they've ever started it, meaning they are going to take a bad fight, meaning Gucci's going to win.
The important part of it as well is that GCG do possess the needed damage to try and bring down that Baron quickly, even at this stage. It's only 22 minutes into the game, 23 to be precise. So mostly you don't really have enough damage to try and bring something down that quickly. But now you do have Lil Pak now going a little bit wide with his engage. But regardless, Evo don't have that luxury just yet. Now, actually, Savage sidesteps it, but doesn't sidestep that. Go for is going to be used to try to get away. In the meantime, the next target is going to be Nautilus, but here comes the reinforcements. Obsidian almost down. In the meantime, Savonix is going to be locked up here for the time being, too. Bullet Time is going to claim the kill onto that deer. Savonix still fighting once again, too, with the True Shot Barrage, and Gwen stepping up. So huge. Here comes Jeff with another double ultimate. Leona finds the kill onto Savonix, and now it's the time for GCG Gaming to retreat. They have found the angle to get into this team fight, and they take the 3-for-2 trade.
It was looking so good from the side of GCG Gaming. However, Savage was slept through that whole entire fight, so Savage wasn't able to do a lot. Then the hard engage onto Savonix as well with Ori, pummeling him down, meaning that 2 of the carries from the side of GCG Gaming, the 2 people that deal damage for you, just weren't able to do their job, meaning that it is going to be a win for Team Evo, making that a 3-4-1 there, as they are trying to look for this mid lane tower, as the gold has gone from around about 3k to 1k now.
Ori is now back with his teammates, not playing with the substitute anymore, and you can see how much Evo changed in this game. They're ready to pick up the fight. They're ready to risk. They're ready to do anything, because again, ladies and gentlemen, we're letting you, if they will not win this game, then in this case, GCG will be named as the champions of SLE. But by the looks of it, Evo are not going out without a loud bang.
Now, this is the benefit we were talking of, having your AD carry with you who you know. We saw how much Ori was able to do in that with the True Shot Barrage and all of his Qs as well. But it does look like GCG.
Hold that thought, friend. Eon is going to be knocked up in the air. The wind wall is going to stop a little bit of poke. Nobody is going to get stunned. And now Lolpuck is going to flash away the soul of their Bobo. Now stepping forward, trying to find a bit more. Needlework is going to be used too. But here he comes. He's no longer immune. Bullet time takes a lot of damage, but not that much into that Gwen as you would have expected. Flash forward, trying to go onto Loco now. Steel, Leona tanks it. Leona tanks it. Leona survives it as well. Ori claims the kill and the turret too. And now Evo are behind the driver's seat.
Now, we always said that Evo should not be the ones to engage. But they were able to engage and find a good fight. Well, 3 ultimates are up from the side of Gucci Gaming. 3 of the big ultimates. However, Jeff is not near his rage bar yet. So we're going to have to see if Logog is going to try and steal this.
He might go for it. He's going for it, but he's way too late, and he's going to get punished. No flash. In the meantime, Ewan actually gets a bit over the boots. Logog finds what a beautiful way to escape. Calculated, no luck involved. Nobody going to get killed.
How unlucky is Yeon there? He was trying to go off the wall, get a little bit more damage, and then jump back, which he did do. But he doesn't remember that the Cataclysm was up for Logog. He expected it to be used in the fight. I mean, that Logog, when he saw Yeon over the wall, he's like, oh, you're my flash out. Thanks, man. He ults over, and then he gets himself to safety, meaning that there will not be a kill over to the side of Evo. The kill doesn't go over, but the Dragon does, making it a 2 apiece.
And now the gold is absolutely even. Dragons are absolutely even. Both of the teams have exactly even chances in trying and bring this game home for themselves. Looking at the itemization tool, look at that Ezreal. He is probably one of the most scariest people on the Summoner's Rift at this point. He's ahead of CS over everybody on the map. 3 items completed. He feels happy. Gold doesn't.
Yeah. Don't worry about gold. We'll get it fixed for next season.
Oh, there we go.
Don't worry. Oh,
see, he's the wealthiest man. Told you.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Elon Musk in our game. It's good to see. You know, how nice of him to come down to the SLE just
Is he driving a Tesla? Like, when he's getting into the mid lane, he's just throwing himself in a Tesla? What was that?
No, I believe that Ori's in a Tesla right now on autopilot while playing League. That's what
Okay, I imagined it, and I like it. Elon, please make that happen. You bought Twitter, you can buy Riot Games too.
You need to buy 10 cent then. It's going to be a little bit more of an issue, but it's looking like it's just going to be tit for tat with these waves bouncing back and forth. But the big decider now is this Baron. Are either of these teams able to find a team fight and able to secure this Baron? Looking like Gucci Gaming is trying to grab Vision here, as Evo is trying to grab the mid waves, then they can come in later on.
But not only mid-waves, look at the side lanes. Gwen now doing exactly what we thought she's going to do. She's pressing down the bot lane. Top lane still stands on the spot. Nico is there. Savonix fighting against Yasuo. And mid lane is just continuously to be pressed. Bobo takes even the turret. Evo now making those macro decisions we have been talking about, securing themselves priority and the pressure on the map.
Bobo grabbing himself a 600 gold bounty on that tower. That is nothing to scoff at, as he may be looking for another one.
Maybe looking for another one indeed. Needlework is going to be prop, but the turret slaps him way too much. The nerfs of the turrets have come into this patch.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's still a turret. Lolpog now in the meantime might be getting drowsy. Bullet time is not going to find even a single target. Now Eon continues to stack up his knock-up, his tornado, his wind. And by the looks of it, Evo are going to just disengage from this fight.
Now, we could have seen Gucci Gaming going for the Baron there. Remember, Evo Bobo does not have TP yet. He has around about 20 seconds.
Whoa.
And they know there's a reset. They have started Baron.
GCG gonna take a little bit poke from the True Shot Barrage. I think that both Ori and Kill have not reset. Neon looking for a flank maneuver, gonna knock up 2 in the air, but the Baron is gonna go over to GCG. Can they disengage though? They're being hardly chased. Logok, flash over the wall, another flash from Nautilus, and I think just like that, GCG are out with the full Baron in their hands too.
GCG just stole the Baron right under Evo's noses. They knew that Bobo was not able to do a lot in that fight because of how much he got chunked out from the mid lane engage. On top of this as well, they saw Obsidian reset, and this is the big deal. Because you see the enemy jungler reset, they don't have TP to get there fast. Obsidian doesn't have any way to speed himself up. If you're able to take down this Baron fast, there's just nothing Evo can do about it. This is exactly what happens.
And in just 35 seconds, there's going to be a soul point for both of the teams. And now GCG, they have a natural advantage. Thanks to the Baron buff, they're now much more stronger. They have much more attack. They have much more attack speed. They have much more HP. They have everything in a better position than everyone else. And with that being said, Cataclysm is going to be thrown down. But a lot of damage goes onto that German. Jeff trying to find the flank, but didn't find one. Pop Blossom, he's not going to find a single target too in the meantime. Here comes the True Shot Barrage. GCG, just like that. They give away the Baron lead that they had. Now they're running for the hills for their lives, trying to save themselves. They lost 2 key members, but Sabonix trying to make it even. Gets the first kill.